around each one of the kids' necks and pulled until their little bodies were limp and lifeless. First Dawson, then Cora, and finally Callan. Your job, ladies and gentlemen, is not easy in this case. The evidence will be difficult to see, to hear, to process. Testimony of witnesses, family, friends, teachers, people who knew the Clancy family, people who saw them regularly, people who saw them.
Good morning, Mom Rosebeth.
This defendant killed
Hey,
them.
lunch.
They're all going to come before you. And it may be heartbreaking to hear what they have to say. You'll see photographs of the crime scene. You're going to hear testimony from first responders. They're going to tell you about what they discovered when they came into the Clancy home at 47 Summer Street in Duxbury on January 24th.
Hey, good morning.
You'll hear evidence about the defendant during that time period.
All right, guys, this is opening statements for the Lindsay Clancy. The prosecution is up right now. I know.
You'll hear testimony about what she was reporting to her friends and family and doctors during this time period. The list of witnesses is quite long.
Thank you, guys.
Law enforcement, firefighters.
Good morning. Can you guys hear this?
Friends, family, teachers, crime scene investigators, forensic scientists, toxicologists, medical examiners, experts.
Get your poster.
We expect over the next few weeks that you'll be able to, or will be able to present to you a clear picture of what was occurring in the Clancy household on January 24th of 2023. We ask that you keep an open mind when you're hearing this evidence, and during the course of the trial, don't forget that you do want to watch and streaming it visually over on YTN. Those are things that you bring as jurors to the courtroom every day, and it's what's going to take you into the deliberation room at the end of this trial. So what happened? On January 24th, 2023.
Yes, Devlin, it's the Lindsay Clancy trial.
It was in fact a Tuesday. Tuesdays were days that Cora and Dawson usually went to preschool. They attended the Learning Sprouts preschool in Duxbury, but they didn't attend on Tuesdays. So on this day, they were home. On this particular day, Cora, who had just turned 5, had an appointment at the doctor's, an annual checkup. And so the defendant brought her first thing in the morning to the doctor's. Defendant's husband, Patrick Clancy, was home and he was caring for Callan and Dawson while defendant took Cora to the doctor. Pretty normal. You'll hear and see that Patrick and the defendant exchanged text messages that morning. Patrick sends a photo.
With many of us working from home and driving less, isn't it time car insurance companies offer a discount for that?
Hold on, guys.
At Elephant Insurance.
To the defendant while she's at the doctor. And while at the doctor, the defendant sends a text of Cora and her little Johnny and mask to Patrick. When the defendant and Cora returned home that morning,
you ready, one and all?
Patrick went downstairs to his basement office to do work, same as he had normally done on any other day since returning from paternity leave. And then the defendant was charged with caring for the kids for the rest of the day. She put Callan down for a nap, bundled up Cora and Dawson, took them outside to the backyard and played in the snow. They built a snowman.
Guys, do me a favor if you're just getting out.
The defendant sent pictures of the snowman and the kids in the snow to Patrick when he's working in the basement, and her mom, who was living in Connecticut, who had just been there that weekend but had gone home.
And guys, let's get ourselves put out on the FYP. I am sure this conversation is going to be great.
Patrick described it as a good day, actually. In the late afternoon, around 4 p.m., the defendant searched on her phone for kids' Miralax. She searched takeout freebie, and she opened the Apple Maps on her phone and searched the route that it would take to get from their house to the 3B restaurant in Plymouth. She searched how much time and how far it was. Now, this restaurant had been a place that the family had eaten before, but wasn't their normal takeout spot. She also called CVS and asked them about the kids' Pedialax or Miralax. And that's because at the doctor earlier that day, the doctor had recommended a laxative for Cora. because she had some stomach issues. She had complained of an upset tummy at school the day before, you'll hear. She had some issues where she didn't like to go to the bathroom at school, a little bit
So she had a
embarrassed.
day. I don't know where
they
this one was going with this.
suggested
Okay.
Pedialyx. So she calls CVS and she confirms that they actually have it at their local CVS in Kingston. Then she sends a text to Patrick and asks if he wants to get takeout, if 3V is okay. She didn't feel like cooking dinner. It was a long day. He says, sure. She calls in the order.
I wouldn't want to cook dinner if I was hearing voices either, just saying.
When Patrick leaves the house around 5:15 that evening, everything is normal, seems normal. He sees Dawson eating chicken nuggets and green beans on the couch before he walks out the door. Patrick leaves to go to 3V, and he's going to stop at CVS on the way there. That's when the clock starts, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning,
The
Tess.
defendant knows that Patrick has to stop at CVS, go to 3V. She knows that it's about 5 miles from their house to get to the restaurant. She knows approximately how much time she has for him to go there and come back. She then takes the children down into the
Thank you,
basement.
thank you.
She separates Dawson from Cora and Callan, and then she proceeds to wrap exercise bands around each child's neck and pull until they are dead.
Sounds a
She
little
leaves the bands
psychotic,
wrapped
don't you
around each
think?
child's neck and goes back upstairs. In the kitchen, she gets a knife, and then she proceeds to the second floor of the home. In the middle of this, she misses a call from Patrick. He's at CVS. She misses the call. She calls him right back, and they talk for 14 seconds. Nothing that she does or says in that phone call is of concern to Patrick. He proceeds on his task, and she proceeds with hers. She goes to the second floor master bedroom, locks the door, crushes up some pills, and attempts to take her own life. She uses the knife she got in the kitchen to slash her wrists and her neck. She moves the bed away from the wall, away from the window. She opens that window and goes out. She lands on the cold, hard ground. Shortly thereafter, around 6 p.m., Patrick comes home. He's got the takeout bag and the CVS bag with the medicine. He enters into the house through the mudroom door into the kitchen area, places the bags down. It's eerily quiet. He calls to the kids, no answer. He calls to the defendant, no answer.
Thank you, thank you, thank
He
you,
takes
thank
out
you
his
so much.
phone
Thank
and
you, thank
dials
you.
the number for Lindsay's phone, defendant's phone, no answer. He then goes upstairs and finds the master bedroom door locked. He opens it and enters the room, sees blood. and
You
the
can't
woman.
find one and only? Yeah, I was looking too
He
for a
then
friend
goes
of
to
the
the
house.
backyard, and that's where he finds the defendant. She's on the ground outside that window, moaning and mumbling. At 6:11 p.m., he calls 911.
Not people still reporting. You all need to get a life.
First responders
man.
arrive to the home almost immediately. He's still on the phone with 911 when the responders arrive, and they go right to the backyard and tend immediately to the defendant. While they're with the defendant, Patrick tells the first responders, I need to find my kids. He had asked the defendant where the kids were, and she told them they were in the basement. So when he went in the house, that's the first place he went, down into the basement. He's still on the phone with 911 when he finds each child.
Yeah, conspiracy.
With an
This is
exercise
opening
band still
statement
wrapped
from
around
Lindsay
their neck.
Clancy.
He screams for help, and he says, she killed the kids. Efforts made to resuscitate Cora and Dawson were futile, but first responders from Duxbury and the surrounding communities
It is going to be
persistent, and they
interesting.
kept trying to resuscitate them all the way to the hospital. But when they arrived at the hospital, there
First
was
of all, the
nothing
prosecution
more
shouldn't be able to sit
that
there and try not to
could
be
do
as serious
for Cora and
because
Dawson.
that's not right.
The staff at Beth Israel were able to get a
You're
heartbeat
not muted,
on
honey.
Callan, but he never started breathing on his own. He never regained consciousness. He had no brain activity. Nonetheless, he was transferred to Boston Children's Hospital, where he died 3 days later on January 27th. The defendant was taken to South Shore Hospital and then transported subsequently to Brigham and Women's in Boston. She had multiple traumas, including spinal injuries, as well as superficial injuries to both her wrists and her neck. She is paralyzed. We expect during the course of this trial that you'll hear the defendant made claims that either right after Patrick left the house or after he called her from the CVS, depending on which version of the events she's telling, she heard a voice, a male voice, a voice that she had never heard before, a voice that she never heard again. And that voice told her that it was her last chance. She had to kill the kids so that she could kill herself. She immediately took action.
I already got this. I've already been
no
reported
direction or
to this.
details from the so-called
I'm already
voice.
sitting on a restriction.
And she killed the children. Once she killed the children, the voice stopped. When you consider this information in the course of the trial, ladies and gentlemen, I ask that you consider the source, the timing, the substance.
That's what they're trying to
of
figure out,
whoever's statements
whether or
about
not
this
you're going to be
voice.
going to prison or
We're
a
also
hospital.
going to hear from, or you may hear from, forensic psychologists and psychiatrists who talk about what's called command hallucinations and voices that people hear before they do something. And when you hear that testimony, I ask that you keep in mind the details of what she's saying the voice told her and the details of when this voice spoke to her. Another important thing to remember throughout the course of this trial is that this is not a case about the Lindsay Clancy that sits before you today. This case is about the Lindsay Clancy on January 24th, 2023, at the time of the crimes.
So are you yourself, is the prosecution themselves saying they're two different people?
24th, 2023.
Because I
This was
agree.
a woman who acted intentionally, rationally, and swiftly to accomplish a very specific goal: to kill. You'll see and hear evidence about all the things that she did that day, what she did in the days leading up to this incident, leading to the murders. You'll hear her spending time with her family and friends. You'll hear her appearing to be in good spirits and doing better for all intents and purposes. On that very day, you'll hear she interacted with people at the doctor's office. She came home and took care of the kids. She talked to people on the phone and via text message. The evidence will show you she was not psychotic that day. Throughout the evidence in this trial, you will learn about the defendant being the
The
classic
woman killed the 3 kids and jumped out a window.
in school.
Sounds
in her
pretty
personal
psychotic
life,
to me, I'm just
in her
saying.
nursing career.
Just saying.
She was someone who liked to control every little detail of her life, of her
I
family.
say, that's usually the ones that succumb to psychosis.
In contrast to
More
pictures
easy.
you'll see of the doting mother, the dedicated nurse, you'll also see a side of Lindsay Clancy that's different. Somebody extremely controlling, meticulous, and manipulative.
Hey, Susan.
The days were laid out with specificity. Strict schedules were expected to be maintained. Food was planned carefully. Sleep was scheduled to the minute. And in the time after Callan was born, her last baby, the family had to adjust. And by all sources that I expect you're going to hear at that trial, that summer was great. But after Patrick had finished his paternity leave and was back to work full time, when she no longer had a nanny to watch the baby, do laundry, tidy up the house, follow her schedule, when she was responsible for it all, it was hard.
Yeah, sure
It was
is.
hard for her to maintain that control. It was hard for her to bond with her kids. And in efforts to maintain control, she withheld information from her husband, from her doctors. She reported serious symptoms that were inconsistent with her
prosecution
daily
papers.
activities, you'll hear. And ultimately, on January 24th, 2023, the defendant made a calculated decision. This was a woman who no longer liked the life she thought she wanted. It was getting harder and harder
I
to
agree,
control.
Devlin. She suffered in silence. She did.
And when she saw the opportunity to escape, she made the selfish choice to take it. and to take Cora, Dawson, and Callan first before attempting to take her own life. Ladies and gentlemen, this is
You agree with
not
the prosecutor,
a public
Mom?
debate about women's mental health and how the medical system treats women. This case is about this defendant.
No, it's that.
Lindsay
This is
Clancy.
exactly what this case is about.
There is no dispute that she was dealing with mental health issues during this time period prior to the murders. There'll be medical records, medical doctors, mental health professionals that will talk about
Yes,
treatment,
he was postpartum.
prescriptions, hospital visits. All that's going to be before you. The evidence will show that this defendant had a means and access to mental health that most people don't. And she chose to deal with her mental health issues in the worst way. She chose to manipulate her providers.
So
seek
we're
out the
admitting
quick and
she
easy
had
fix
mental
when
health
she was feeling
issues, and
depressed
most
and anxious.
people who
When
have
she
mental
didn't get
health
what she
issues, mind
expected,
you, a lot of these
she
people
chose an
who have
alternate
these
route.
do
She sought a
manipulate their
different
healthcare
doctor.
providers. That's
She
the
changed
thing.
medications after days.
And healthcare
She
providers are
disengaged
well
from
aware of
treatment
it.
when she didn't
I'll
like
put
the
that out
plan.
there.
After only 4 months in treatment, she made a choice, a deliberate and intentional decision that she did not want to try anymore. And because no one could take care of her kids the way she wanted them to, she had to take them with her.
Sounds a little
Despite all the
psychotic, don't
precision
you
that she
think?
exhibited that day, you'll hear the timing of it all, the swiftness of the killings, overcoming the interruption of Patrick's phone call. What she did not anticipate was that she would not be able to complete the act by killing herself.
She jumped out a window,
Ladies and
baby.
gentlemen, people with mental illness
She
commit
wasn't-
crimes every day and are responsible for them. The fact that someone may suffer or have a mental illness, a mental disease or defect,
I agree.
is not the end of the inquiry when it comes to guilt or innocence. It is whether a person can appreciate the wrongfulness or criminality of the conduct and conform their conduct to the law. Do they know what they were doing, and can they control their actions? The evidence in this case will prove beyond a reasonable doubt that this defendant coldly and efficiently executed first Dawson, then Cora, and finally Callan. One by one, she
What
strangled the life out of each one of them.
mother in their
She did so
right
with no
mind
hesitation,
would do that to
with
their
deliberate
children?
premeditation and extreme atrocity and cruelty. She is criminally responsible for the murders because the evidence will prove to you that she knew exactly what she was doing. She drew her husband out of the house, their father, so that she had the opportunity and the time to carry out these murders.
Sounds psychotic,
maintain
right?
the
People
ability
think
to
that when you
control
get
her
psychotic
conduct,
and you go
conform her
into that
conduct,
state, you
when
just
she
get
attempted
dumb.
to kill herself to escape the consequences.
Nobody does that in their right mind,
The
Tammy. You're
conclusion
right.
of this case, we're going to come back and we're going to ask that you return guilty of the murders of Cora Clancy
Her lawyer
Dawson
looks a little
Clancy
stressed, though, I have to
and
say.
Callan Clancy, because the defendant
She
committed
told her
those
husband
crimes.
before, and he didn't think it was a big deal. Yeah.
All right, thank you, counsel. Mr. Reddington, do you wish to give an opening?
I do.
All right, now we're on the defense. Yes, guys, do me a favor. I've already been reported. Do me a favor if you're coming in here, share this out and repost it, guys. And don't forget to tap into your thumbs go numb, just so I don't get hit again because I'm already sitting in this.
I might use the easel, man. Replace-
I agree with you, Tammy. It's gonna piss me off too. This is the Lindsay Clancy trial. We just heard the prosecution's opening statement, and now we're moving on to the defense. Lindsay Clancy was a mother in Massachusetts who killed her 3 children and then tried to kill herself. And so the argument is
No, normally,
criminally responsible
uh,
due to possible postpartum psychosis.
I'm away from your life, your jobs, your family.
He's so
To
low.
court, listening to a trial, certainly is a service that's provided by you as citizens. But in this case, God bless you. You people
Speak up, friend.
are going to have to listen to some of the most
Y'all hear him?
horrific things. Look at some of the most horrific.
I can barely hear him.
things.
He's speaking really low. Let me see if this works. Is that better? A little bit?
You pass between, as you heard Don Clerk say, you probably don't remember it, but it's old language, it goes back to Old England.
Is that a little better?
It says that you as jurors pass between the government, them. And she places herself on her country, which country you are.
What?
You owe allegiance to nothing but your oath, your consideration, and your time, your common sense, you bring your life experience to this trial. You render a verdict. And as jurors, take the job very, very, very seriously. You people never.
Guys, this don't look like it's gonna go good. What is this guy talking about?
And thank you for that service. The government says that this is a situation, it's not a referendum on women's having babies and having postpartum psychosis, postpartum depression, but it sure as hell is. Because you're going to hear,
like she should have had a
consistent with what His Honor told you in the instructions, consistent with the obligation that the government has when they brought this charge. Tim Cruz, the DA, right in the front row, brought this charge. He knew, as did his office, the facts of this case.
He's got me choked on my coffee.
And he knew when he brought this charge that it was going to kill the soul of this young woman. And they would bring their evidence in front of a jury that she knows that she killed these children. We'll sit here, listen to their evidence. But I suggest to you that the issue for consideration is what was going on in that woman's mind. You're going to hear evidence that, as the government said, Lindsay was a kind of a parent pleaser. She was a person that in school had a lot of friends, still has friends. You'll hear evidence to this day from the 6th grade. High school, college, nursing school. You're going to hear evidence that Lindsay, in the course of being in high school, she was a high achiever of gymnastics. Stopped doing gymnastics because she hurt herself and didn't like to do the backflips and stopped doing
What is he talking about?
Very athletic. You're going to hear evidence that right after she had the birth, the last child, within 4 or 5 days.
Oh,
she won
guys.
5K.
Oh, no. No,
She was very,
buddy.
very,
No.
very physically fit. The life was such that she watched what she ate, watched what she did in her life as far as activities, and was one heck of a mother.
Even the judge is looking a little bit confused back there, like, what are you talking about?
I said to you about those little kids and their life and what they like, she knows 1,000 times more than what they know.
Oh, come on. I give up.
As a mother, daily, you'll see evidence that she would decorate rooms, that she and Patrick did have that achievement of a wonderful life. They had it all. They met in Boston. She was a young nurse out of school. He was working in his industry. They ended up falling in love, getting married.
Yeah, this is wild.
Bought a nice house. And, you know, people will say, oh, they're living in this mansion. No, they're living in a very, very humble house in Duxbury
The hell is he talking
that
about?
they had to struggle to pay for. That house, you will see, not from the view, because it's not enough that we have photographs. On top of the photographs, we have
Oh,
video.
she just lost. I'm just letting y'all
On top
know
of the
that.
Photographs and a video, we have to
She
have
just
an
lost.
computerized animated display. And on top of the photographs, the video, the automated animated display, we have to get on a bus and go take a ride. and look at the house where some guy and his wife are now living, that it doesn't look at all like what it looked like when Lindsay and Patrick were living there with their 3 kids. But there are videos that show what that home looked like that day, prior to that. You'll see in every room, there are things hanging on the walls, alphabets, colors, numbers, pictures of different cartoon characters, and I'm too old to even remember what they
First of all,
are.
it's the accent.
Movies,
too.
all sorts of toys, erector sets, trucks,
Did he just say a
all
record?
over the living room. There was no
What?
dining room. It was a large thing for the baby to be in, and then surrounded by toys. Every single room had toys in it. These children were loved and nurtured and cared for by her. She didn't want to get rid of her kids because of her selfish life, as the government indicates. She loved those children right up to the time of their death. You're going to see that there's
I don't
photographs
like the way that sounded
in
when you
this
said
case
that,
that
but
you'll be able to evaluate that show that. Some of them might even be in the videos that the state police took. This case is a massive production by the district attorney's office. You have the district attorneys, the assistant district attorneys, the assistants to the assistant district attorneys. You have the state police crime laboratory.
y'all, he's
You have the
rambling.
detectives. You have the state police, the armed men. that
The
will go out and
prosecution was
interview witnesses.
trying to act
They will
like they were ready to
investigate this
cry, and
case.
this guy's just
You have
wandering
the
off
victim
into left
witness
field.
advocate, very nice lady, by the way, that deals with witnesses and people in a case such as this. It's a massive operation, and that's great. We should have.
I don't even know what to say right now.
But when you're considering the evidence,
You're supposed to lay the
Consider the
foundation
fact
for the
that we have
story,
two
buddy.
young
Tell a
people.
story.
that we're living this life, that we're working, and Patrick, not because of COVID, not because of, he just didn't want to work in an office anymore. He worked out of his basement. He worked in an office in the basement. He was there because of what Lindsay was going through.
Man, I can't even
It's
right
about
now.
time your
This
renter's
is wild.
insurance let you file a
Testify to it. He doesn't have to testify, quite frankly, and identify clothing and be distraught
What is
and
he-
placed in a position of horror in this courtroom, but he will testify to what they went through as a husband and a wife. The wife. being
All right,
pregnant
this
with
isn't
three
starting
kids.
off good, guys. This
After
is
the
not
second
starting
child.
off good.
She had postpartum. You're going to hear evidence that that's one of the issues that is important because that can lead to bipolar. One of the things that you don't do, which is taboo, is if you have somebody that's bipolar, you don't put them on an antidepressant. You don't put them on Zoloft. You don't put them on what's called an SSRI, selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors. It messes with your brain. You don't do that, but it was done in this case. The reason that Lindsay went to the doctors was in September 2022. July and August of 2022, they were very happy.
Oh.
Lovely little family. September, things went sideways. And she looked for, and you heard the government saying, and remember what they say in their opening, and remember that when they prepare a case, and remember how they can point at different aspects of a case to show guilt, that show that somebody's conniving. In this case, how many times we heard she faked the suicide, faked the suicide. Little cuts, dinky little cuts, scratches you'll hear stated in the opening statement or time of the arraignment. That she asked for a lawyer. That's rich. You're going to hear evidence that she was in her bedroom after the horrific act in the basement. And that she was up in the bedroom, that she stood in front of a full-length mirror, that she took the knife.
The ex-husband is in court. I think he's the first one, the first one to be called
When she
is gonna
took
be
the knife,
Patrick Clancy.
she cut her throat in front of the mirror.
All right, he's showing something. What is he
This is
showing?
no fake suicide. This is her when she was brought to
All right,
the
yeah,
hospital.
I've already been hit.
She was in the hospital. That's what her appearance was at the South Shore Hospital. When she's at the South Shore Hospital, she had wonderful care and treatment that was able, against her will, to save her life.
This was smart, bringing out the
Big
pictures. All right,
suicide,
buddy,
little
I'm taking
scratches,
this
dinky
down.
little scratches. This is a photograph that was taken at the South Shore Hospital of her neck. Photograph taken of her wrist, showing the split in the skin. Photograph showing you'll see evidence of this, the bedroom floor next to the bed,
Oh, wow.
blood.
That's more blood than I would have thought. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, she tried to end her life 4 different ways. She took pills,
Next to the cup,
her wrist, and her jumping. Yeah.
sadly, a gift saying because kids. You see
Oh,
the white
she-
residue inside the cup, that's where the pills were crushed up with leftover lemonade from the night before when she consumed that. That's the knife. This here you'll see is sleep aids. See this here, deep sleep pillow spray. She couldn't sleep. She couldn't sleep for months.
I agree.
More
Probably
photographs.
remove the cup. Yeah.
Of the injuries to her neck.
I'd show the people though, buddy. I don't know. This guy's struggling. He's struggling, guys.
And then, in the course of the fake suicide speculation by the police, you'll see the evidence that she hung on the window ledge and, like Spider-Man, I guess, slid down the wall of the house. You're going to hear evidence that she flung and threw herself out the window, striking her head on the ground, full ground, causing what's known as a Jefferson fracture of her neck. She
Yeah, I agree, Lumi. Thank you,
exploded
Cal.
her thoracic spine, shattered her cervical spine, the first disc, broke every rib. In the Jefferson fracture, you'll hear evidence.
Guys, do me a favor. I'm going to come down and come right back because I'm getting hit again. I just got
Jefferson
reported in the
fracture is
report with
consistent
me.
with Superman when he got thrown off the horse. It's consistent with people that have the tragedy where they dive into a swimming pool, as a result of which they get that fracture in the neck and get paralyzed. She's paralyzed. She's not going to get up miraculously and walk out of this courtroom. Was paralyzed and will be paralyzed for the rest of her life. She's living her own hell. She knows what happened with those kids. And she wanted to die. When she was in the hospital, you're going to see evidence. Brigham and Women's Hospital, when they transferred her from South Shore Hospital, air flight into Brigham and Women's Hospital, and she was then given the emergency room and the emergency treatment at the Brigham and Women's Hospital. You couldn't move in that room. There was so much equipment, so many wires, so many breathing tubes, so many machines, humming, banging, clicking, and she's spread out like she's crucified on the bed while she's being treated in that room, surrounded by armed police officers. Out in the hallway, guarding the hallway against what? Anyone could guess. Guarding the hallway, guarding the room, guarding the bed, standing there. She's handcuffed to the bed. She goes to South Shore Hospital. Government speculates that, again, you see how the government is able
These are all
to
wild.
create what they want for facts. That she is so cold and calculating that she said that she heard voices after I brought a psychologist.
Oh, they're hammering me, man. This is wild.
Dr. Zeisel into that room to see her. I had to move heaven and earth. You'll hear evidence that they wouldn't even let her have visitors. She couldn't even see her family for over a week. The cops wouldn't let anybody near
Guys,
her.
do me a favor. Share
That
this
room
out
was an armed camp.
because I've already been hit
I
again.
had to move heaven and earth and practically get a court order to be able to get in there and see her while she's laying in the bed. And they suggest and will suggest that she said, I heard voices, I heard command hallucinations telling me to kill the kids and then kill myself, after she talked to Paul Zeisel as if he was telling her what to say because I'm the lawyer and I brought him into that hospital? You're going to hear evidence that Paul Zeisel is one of the most respected psychologists. You're going to hear evidence that he was embedded with the military in Afghanistan for years. You're going to hear evidence that he works for the government when there's a shooting involving the FBI, the CIA, or any of those alphabet soup clubs. He's involved out interviewing these people for post-traumatic stress. I knew that he was the man to talk to this young woman in the hospital. When I finally was able to get into that room, into that hospital, he was with me. He did not tell her command voices. He, as a human being, gave her a cell phone so she could call Patrick. But you know what? You're going to hear evidence from a woman who works at Brigham and Women's Hospital. Saw Lindsay as soon as she came out of her coma. She is a woman that works with the religious services in that hospital. And the first thing that Lindsay wanted to know is, where's my family? And then she told her about what happened and told her about the command voices. And this is well before she ever met me or Paul Zeisel. So you have to keep focused on the evidence because it's so easy to manipulate. There's no fake suicide. And there was no plan to fake her sickness. This is a young woman that...
So you mean to tell me they're trying to say that she planned for a year and faked all of this? Come on. Come on.
Help she needed. She went and saw a doctor by the name of, oh, by the way, remember in the opening, the government said she shopped around for doctors, I guess, that she wanted to get doctors to, I don't know, give her drugs or something. You can hear evidence that she went online and she looked for someone that was into neonatal or post-baby delivery.
He has no idea. I need him to stop mumbling.
She
This
couldn't
is
sleep.
not a good opening
She had
statement.
insomnia. It wasn't just, you know, when you get up in the middle of the night because your phone's on. She couldn't sleep. She'd only get 2 hours a night, 3 hours a night if she's lucky, as time went on.
This is bad.
In September, she went to see Dr. Tufts. Jennifer Tufts is the name of the doctor. Jennifer Tufts then gave her a prescription for Zoloft, which is a antidepressant. It's one of those.
I don't know. Is this a
SSRIs.
public defender or is he an
She
actual
didn't take
lawyer?
the Zoloft.
Not that
for a couple
public
of
defender's
weeks
not lawyers,
because
you know what I mean.
she was breastfeeding. She was
No, he
afraid to
sounds
have the
so
baby.
much like the
Anything to do
Kirby
with drugs,
Carpenter
but ultimately
defense
couldn't
lawyer.
any longer took the
That was
Zoloft.
a joke. Sorry,
Spun
but
out of control.
Yeah, Chatter, he's not doing her any favors.
Bipolar. You don't give a bipolar person Zoloft, but she got it. You're going to see what the effect was that it had on her as that week went on, as that month drove on, and she couldn't sleep, and she was unable to emote, had no emotions, had no feelings, was unable to really react to anything, but had to take care of the kids. And as the government says, well, she was able to talk to people. She was able to talk to neighbors. Sure, you
Guys, do me a favor,
people that knew Lindsay.
See if you could share it out now. See if you can repost it. Yes, Rinda,
People
this
that
is her
knew
lawyer.
Lindsay, teachers of those kids will indicate what kind of a mother she was, as will neighbors, as will friends, as will people that saw her during that period of time. You're going to hear evidence from Patrick as to the effect that this sickness had on her. She was looking into it. You're going to see her Google
Thank
searches.
you, Paula. Thank you.
You're going to see her Google searches go on and on and on about how to take care of postpartum. What type of drugs? Can you become addicted to benzodiazepines?
So I'm curious to see all these Google searches.
A ketamine treatment. What do I do as far as insomnia? What do I do about my thoughts to kill myself? Ways to kill. How do you kill? What do you do to kill? Government lashes onto that. Oh my God, she's looking up ways to kill. Let's make that a basis of our prosecution on this case. This is not a righteous prosecution. They're looking for every single piece of evidence that they can to show some ridiculous concept that she wanted to kill her beautiful kids because she didn't want to be a mother anymore. This is a woman that was a nurse. She worked for one of the best hospitals in the country. She was in a labor delivery. You're going to hear from labor and delivery nurses that will tell you how dedicated she was. Cora was named after the very, very first baby that she delivered as a nurse in the hospital. That's where the name Cora came from. Cora was named after her first delivery. This is a woman who did nothing in her life but dedicated her life to helping people.
aw, that makes
Yeah, it does.
A good nurse and a
It
great
does.
mother. And as time went on, looking like anyone else would, please help me. That's what it's all about. Give me help. And so the government will say, she was able to talk to people. She wasn't drooling. She wasn't putting tin foil inside of a hat.
Yeah,
She was
you're right,
going
though.
to the
Half of what he's
schools.
saying
No,
is
she was
irrelevant.
able to
You
talk
shouldn't
to people.
trying to,
We actually have, we meaning the
I
government,
don't know that this is
we
working
have
in our favor.
video of her,
too much.
Patrick, and the kids at the Museum of Science. And they were actually having a good time. We also have video that shows them down at Cape Cod, down the Cape with the
What is
kids.
he talking about,
And they're
though?
in
Come on,
bathing
he's
suits.
rambling a little too
I
much.
guess she was fine.
He needs a steady
on a
thought.
good
His thoughts
face.
to,
So what does she do? She goes to see, September 12th of 22, she looked for a psychiatrist. That's when she hooks up, if you will, with Dr. Jennifer Tufts, early October of 22, initial appointment. October 20th of 22, reports the adverse reaction that she was having to the selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor Zoloft. November 16th, she goes to the South Shore Hospital emergency room because she was so depressed and so maxed out from
all
lack
right,
of
Buddy pulled
sleep
out a
and
timeline. Here
so
we go.
unable to emote. She couldn't laugh, she couldn't
Yeah,
cry, she
I'm-
couldn't have
yeah,
any
he can't
feeling.
hold.
She was a robot. She went to South Shore Hospital.
The
She
jury's
was
gonna be
referred
born
and
at this
engaged
point.
with South Shore Perinatal Behavioral Health. This was Patrick's mother. This is Patrick's mother, Mrs. Clancy, who's a nurse, well-respected nurse, wonderful woman. She works at the South Shore Hospital, labor and delivery as well. She knows Lindsay. And she
Yeah.
told Lindsay, you gotta go to this outfit here, which
Yeah,
was the
you
South
definitely
Shore
can use the
Perinatal
timeline
Behavioral
right
Health.
on there.
She didn't look them up because she wanted to get drugs. She was referred by her mother-in-law, who's a nurse. She went to see these people, November 21st of 22. When she was engaged at the South Shore Perinatal Behavioral Health, she's going on one drug to the next to the next. The drugs that she was prescribed, you see here, and you'll hear evidence.
All right, he's not helping her.
First off,
Guys,
Jennifer
if you guys
Tufts,
are over here on White,
September
don't
15th,
forget to give
22.
this live a like.
Sertraline,
I
that's the
appreciate it.
Zoloft. Then lorazepam, October 21st, Jennifer Tufts. Then hydroxyzine, Jennifer Tufts. Lorapazan, Jennifer Tufts. Buspirone, Jennifer Tufts. Lorazepam, increase, Jennifer Tufts. Buspirone, increase from 1 milligram to 5 milligrams, Jennifer Tufts.
Thank you guys for the heart.
Trazodone
Thank
from
you.
another individual. Fluoxetine, 10 milligrams from another person named Julie Paul. Julie Paul worked at the South Shore Hospital when she went there to go to try to get some help from South Shore Perinatal Behavioral Health. More medications, spiraling, continuing on, down. Pat lived this, and he will testify to what they went through. At this point, at the end of November, around Thanksgiving, she's reporting disassociation and confusion. They put her on Remeron. This is around Thanksgiving. Things were so bad at this point that her mother and father came up from Connecticut and lived with them to take care of the kids, to help, because she was walking around absolutely.
Thank you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
She would rock on the sofa, crying hysterically, banging her head into the pillow of the sofa. Patrick will tell you what he observed with her. She dealt with her parents. Her parents were there to try to help. Is this someone that's faking because she doesn't want to be a mother anymore? The parents were there, mother and father, wonderful people. Mother's retired. Dad took pictures of high school kids for yearbooks.
Yeah, I don't, it's,
They
yeah.
did what they could.
The
Coming
dad-
into December, after
isn't making any
Thanksgiving,
sense.
and they went, by the way,
A little bit too much.
during the holidays, down to Connecticut at one point to visit with the family. But December 4th, she calls a suicide hotline seeking help. December 5th, she's evaluated by what's
I
known as
agree,
the
Sandy. This
Aspire
isn't working
Crisis
well.
Team. You'll hear evidence about that. December 6th, the next day, they have
He
an
is all over
appointment
the
with Nurse
place, guys.
Gelada.
He is.
Now, Nurse Gelada comes into this action because, again, not
Can
looking
anybody,
for
can
more
anybody
doctors.
keep up with what he's saying?
Paul retired or left or went to another job. So all of a sudden, Nurse Paul, who was treating her and prescribing meds, leaves. Here's Nurse Gelada. She's now going to be your person you deal with. That's all. She wasn't looking for some other doctors to get additional medication. She now is dealing with Gelada. They have an appointment with Nurse Gelada, and Pat goes with her because he was so upset and says to Gelada, you'll hear evidence. Do you think possibly that she's over-medicated? Do you think somebody screwed up? And she says it's possible. And then she puts her on more medication.
Something all
She
over.
puts her on, okay, December of 2022, you're going to see that Nurse Gelada, who is now on this
I
chart,
can't
is in
keep up with
blue.
him, and I know the story.
Nurse Gelada puts her on quietapine, 25 milligrams, November 30th, December 6th, diazepam, 5, December 7th, diazepam, December 7th,
Yeah, this
quietapine,
doesn't sound
December
like
9th,
real,
diazepam,
guys.
5,
Come on.
December 13th,
This is wild.
diazepam.
Glenda, thank you so
And
much.
then
I
she goes
appreciate
back
it.
to Jennifer Tufts because they just couldn't handle dealing with Rebecca Gelada because she wanted to wean off the drugs.
Thank you, guys.
Gelada told her to stay the course.
Thank you so much.
She ends up going through the December 19th, 21st, 22nd, dealing with quietapine.
Yeah, if I didn't know
300
about the
milligrams of
I
quietapine.
would be completely lost at this
Now,
point. This
what
guy is
happens
just
is
rambling off
They
into
then
left field.
suggest that what she has to do.
What
is
I
go
did learn
to,
was that Lindsay
Mass
Clancy
General
father
Hospital. She
took
goes to
yearbook
Mass General
pictures
Hospital.
of
At
kids.
Mass General, they say, well, you can do like a day program, or you can go to this fantastic program down in Rhode Island called Women and Infants Program. So she goes to Women and Infants Program
Yeah,
Goes
he
down
needs
for a
to
day.
land the plane. He needs
She
to
sits there in her
definitely
room
land the plane.
with other
I
mothers
don't
and
know
they
what's
talk.
happening, but this is not it.
And they
If he
look
paid
at her
for this, he needs a
medication and
refund
they say, you're going to see it in the medical.
because this isn't helping nothing.
We can't really help you as postpartum, and that's what they specialize in, because you've got medications that you're going to have to.
Wims
clear
just said, I'm
because
new
the
to the case.
medications
First
can be
impressions is the
She's
lawyer
here for a
sucks
day.
and she was begging for
One day,
help.
they never
Yeah.
said anything. You're
Thank
not
you,
suffering
Glenda.
from
Thank you
postpartum.
so much.
Postpartum, every one of these doctors and nurses knew that she was suffering from postpartum. And now it's turning into psychosis. Now as she goes through the period of time, in January
For those
5,
of you who are over on
Aliyah Goodhart
TikTok,
from McLean Hospital puts on
I
trazodone, 50
am
milligrams.
showing this and actually
Lorazepam,
screening
1
it over on
milligram,
YT
leaving
and
the
SB just
hospital.
in case y'all
She
want
goes
to.
to that hospital on New Year's Eve. She and Patrick decide this is it. The two of them get in their car. Family takes care of the kids. She goes to the hospital. Now it's locked wards. She goes into the hospital. She's there for 5 days, 4 days. During that period of time that she's there, she's in group. She doesn't see a doctor but once. There's no discussion of medications till the very end. You'll see the medical records. You can look at the medical records. You'll see that her daughter's
Yeah,
birthday
he's
was
not
coming up
making
and
me
she
about the
wanted to leave
children or her.
rather than the 5th.
I don't know what he's
the
trying to
4th.
do.
This is not a discharge against medical advice. They cleared it. They said, yeah, fine, you're okay, good.
Yeah,
Good luck,
it
go
is
home.
all over the place.
went home.
man.
And she went to the birthday party. The government will have witnesses apparently to show that she was able
Yes,
to
Sandy, same name. Thank you.
socialize, like, hi, how are you? At the trampoline where they had the birthday party for Cora. She's still living in a nightmare. During this period of time, January.
Most auto insurers love when you
Oh my
have two
gosh,
cars.
I'm not gonna lie, I
because
needed that
they get
ad. I
to
needed a
charge you
break.
more.
Trazodone to 150 milligrams.
Like he's jumping all over the
January 13th,
medications like you're
We've got
not.
Rebecca
People don't
Gelada puts
understand
her
this
on
yet.
diazepam. And by the way, when she was down at Rhode Island and the nurse and babies hospital, not a hospital, it was like a service. The people that were
You want to
treating
build the
her
sympathy. I get that.
one
but
day
This is not done correctly.
reached
This is
out
not
to
building
Gelada
sympathy. He
to find
sounds like
out
he doesn't
what's
even
up
have,
with the medication. Gelada never called him back.
you know, a
You're going to hear
complete
evidence in
understanding of
some
what
medical
happened.
records that when she and Patrick called Gelada to say, I got to wean off this. She didn't want more drugs. She wanted off the drugs. Gelada says, stay the course. She's going on vacation. I'll see you in a week. Comes back in a week. You're going to see that
This is
now
the Lindsay
Jennifer
Clancy
Tufts
trial, the
puts her
woman
on
who murdered her
diazepam, 2
children.
milligrams on
And the
January
argument
16th.
is she isn't criminally
Amitriptyline, 10
responsible.
milligrams,
Hey, Sandra.
January 16th. Diazepam
Because
and
he
diazepam
was
between Tufts and
possibly in a
Gelada.
psychosis
The
postpartum.
last script is diazepam, 2 milligrams, January 23rd. During
Yeah,
that period of
that
time,
jury just dozed off.
you can see that on December 20th and 22nd, she was evaluated at the Women's and Infants Partial Hospitalization Program in Rhode Island. December 30th, she returned to Mass General Hospital Emergency Room. December 31st, that's after Mass General told her to
He's,
go to the hospital,
yeah.
to go to McLean. New Year's Eve, December 20th of 22, they were admitted to McLean Hospital for psychiatric treatment. January 6th of 23 was
Yeah, I
post-discharge
can't.
follow-up
This is.
appointment with Dr. Tufts.
I need a little
January
emotion.
10,
I need you to
16,
explain
and
what a great
23,
mother she
appointment
was.
with Dr. Tufts, Dr.
I
Tufts,
need
Dr.
you to
Tufts.
explain
Day
all
before
of
the
that
killings,
stuff. Tell a
Dr.
story.
Tufts
You're not telling a
seized the
story.
medications
You're
that
rambling
she
about
did not-
medications
that
that
she
this jury has
controlled,
no idea
that she
about
took,
yet.
that she didn't take, and apparently, according to the opening statement by the government, was manipulating the doctors, not telling the doctor. She told them that she was suicidal. She told them that she had suicidal ideation, and in December,
Yeah, Lakota, I agree.
to his and her ever dying regret, told Patrick,
This is going to
in
be
the
a long
presence of her
6 to
mother,
8
that
weeks
she
of this
was having
guy.
psychosis thoughts of hurting the children. This is a woman that did not get the medication, did not get the medical treatment that she so deserved. This is a woman that was suffering from
Now he's whispering.
psychosis at the time that she went down to that basement. She had no motive. She loved her children. She intended to kill herself. She didn't fake that. Threw herself out the window. Goes to the hospital. You're going to see that when she's in the hospital, they said to her, you want to, what do you call it, a DNR? Do not resuscitate her with an absolute, did not want any DNR. Didn't want to be resuscitated, wanted to die. To this day wants to die. That's what we're dealing with on this prosecution. So you're going to hear from witnesses. It's going to be emotional. And
Is that better?
thank you for your service. Thank you, Judge.
All right, members of the jury, we're going to take the morning recess at this time. All right, I'm going to ask you to go out. Again, don't discuss the case. We'll be back here probably about 15, 20 minutes, and we'll begin with the Commonwealth's case. All right, so we'll be in recess at this time.
All right.
All right, we got a 15-minute recess.
So I get the background. I think it could have been wrapped up a little bit. Father's taking photos. I don't think that was necessary. But it's Patrick's mother was a nurse. She tried to help too. This is when she went in. This is how many medications she's had. She's a normal mom, good mom. I think it could have been cut a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. This was wild. I don't know how I feel about this. Like, first of all, she's over here tearing up. He did not do a good job, in my opinion. I get where he was trying to go. He didn't do it. He didn't pull that off successfully, in my opinion. That was not a good opening statement. I'm sorry.
Maybe he's not good at opening statements, but will be better at everything else, hopefully.
I really hope so. Guys, if you don't mind, I'm going to come back down and come back in again because because y'all know why I got hit again. Man, these people are wild. He should have waited to make his opening. Yeah, Sandra, this was, I don't know how I feel about this. That was wild. He did not do a good job. Not at all. I feel like too many thoughts were being thrown out there. He was talking about medications and hospitalizations. He was pulling charts, not really showing anybody. That was a lot. Yeah, that was wild. That was just, I don't know. That was craziness. Hold on, am I still over here? Because people on TikTok are wild. All right, let's bring it back. What do you guys in the comments, what do you guys think about his opening statement? Yeah, I have a funny feeling I know who's doing the hitting. I already know who's. Yeah, the trial started, Laura. So we heard the opening statements for the prosecution and the defense. I'm not going to lie, guys. The defense did not do a good job with that opening statement, in my opinion. Now, I'm not a lawyer, but yeah, as a juror, I would have been lost. You're right, Paula. He barely touched on how she was a mom. You know what I mean? Like, oh, the kids had lots of toys in their room. She was a great mom. They had everything they wanted. Like, nah, you needed a little bit more, right? Go into the time they went to the park and they were just, playing, and how they were cuddling on the couch, and how, she was the one that stayed up at nights when they had colds and stuff like that. That shows a good mom, not the toys on the floor in the room, in my opinion.
He didn't even talk about children a lot either.
No.
I know he's out for the mum, but the fact that the state, what you did, the lady, the other side, was saying about that she said the name, she said like try and make them seem like children because it's their lives and blah blah blah. But he just didn't even say the names or anything.
Yeah.
He was just like, so he could, I think, by saying he's a good mom, he could have like used the names and that would have got, because for me, I got more emotional when the lady spoke than him.
Yeah, I agree. Sandra just said, I'm really at a loss for words. The prosecution did a great job. It was to the point, clear, and well spoken. The defense did not do any of those things, in my opinion, at a loss for words, and was lost. She's absolutely correct. The prosecution was 5 seconds from tears. Did you hear her getting all choked up in front of the jury? Like, that was brilliant. Like, she played that off well. Okay. Juvenated, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. She did. She pulled that off really well. She was acting like, and again, maybe she was, but she definitely pulled the emotion in, couldn't speak through her story. Like, and then he just got up there rambling. He had boards where he was trying to show them timelines and he wasn't showing anybody. He was walking around reading them. It was way out there. He didn't have an organized thought in his head. Yeah, I couldn't follow along, and I know the story, and I still couldn't follow where he was trying to go.
I couldn't either.
Yeah.
I was like lost. I felt like he was just going in like this huge circle.
Yeah, it was.
I just felt like it was more like the closing statement, because he was talking about all this evidence and not even heard it yet. So are they going to really remember that in like 3 or 4 weeks when they see the evidence that he's talking about? I know they say you're going to say, but he went to detail with bits of evidence that they're probably not even going to remember by the time it comes up. So that was just a waste of time for me. It should be done as a jury or after.
He needed
because
to.
you say when you see this, you're going to do that, but they might not see it for 6 weeks. You know what I mean? So
He needed to dig deep down and pull the emotion for the jury. He needed to get them emotionally invested into this trial, and he didn't do that.
I just Googled him. That's why I got kicked on accident. He is a very prominent defense attorney lawyer, though.
When?
It is a private.
What decade?
In that area, yes, he is. He's a very, very good lawyer. They stated in that area, in that Boston, Massachusetts, or whatever, where they're at, and it is a private lawyer, so they are paying out of pocket for him. So maybe the opening statements were good, but maybe there's a method to his madness on that too.
Maybe he's better at questioning the witnesses and doing that than he is the opening statement, because that just wasn't good. It just didn't do what you needed it to do to keep that jury emotionally invested in this case. And you need the emotion. You need to pull at their emotion. So hopefully
Maybe he
he's,
did it on purpose so that they would like be confused by the time they listened to him and not listen to what the other one said. If so, it worked.
if that was it, then yes, it worked. Then kudos, good job, because that's absolutely what he did. That's absolutely what he did. I feel like with me, and I'm not a lawyer, guys, like, right? I just pretend to be one on TikTok. I feel like with me though, I really would have played hard on that emotion. The emotion of who in their right mind, what mother in her right mind would murder her children? That's the emotion I would play off of. Right? Because it's like crazy, psychotic to think about. Like, that's where I would have went with that. I would have pulled off the emotion. And then do it to herself. Yeah. Yeah. That's,
When I was looking the jurors up, how many there was, because the lady asked, it's 12 women, 8 men it was,
yeah.
including the spare ones that they have. It said that lawyer is trying to not have as many witnesses like the paramedics and things, because he doesn't want too much showing about the injuries to the children and the crime scene, because he doesn't want like loads of people, he wants it about her and not about
everybody
so
else.
apparently he doesn't want loads of people. It's more about the medication and stuff. He doesn't want the paramedics questioned and things like that. Apparently, it said when I looked into it.
It makes sense because it's going to pull the emotion to the other side. These paramedics saying what a horrible. Yeah. I don't know. This did not start off the way I thought it was going to start off. I agree. I think a female lawyer, and again, not that the guy isn't good. However, men don't understand postpartum anything. Men don't understand the place of a woman, right? Men don't understand the weight placed on women, even in today's society, right? It's gotten better, but it's still the same. We're still expected to do all these things and work now, because it's not just take care of the family. Now we're expected to work and pull and bacon too. So I feel like, can a man truly understand that and articulate that without having any experience or understanding with it? Am I making sense? So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about this guy. Like, maybe he is good. I hope he's good. Maybe he does better cross-examining witnesses and doing all that. I'm really going to hope so.
It's like the total opposite of what you would want, isn't it? To the extreme of his age and his male. So actually, it's like the total opposite of who you think that would be good.
Yeah.
So again, maybe that's it. Maybe that's what they want to achieve. I don't know how or why, but maybe it'll come later on, because his age is not really, you know what I mean? And
yeah, absolutely.
he's not female and he's a lot older than her, so
And
maybe that's the ploy they want to do.
Has he ever pulled a case off with postpartum anything? Like, my whole thing is, postpartum didn't even exist back in his day. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
it wasn't
what I
even
mean
an
about the
understood.
age.
Yeah. But thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for the heart me's over here on YouTube and Facebook. If you guys can just make sure that you guys are liking this live, I appreciate it. I got 2 hearts over there. Y'all could do a little bit better than that. I really do appreciate it. It does help me get pushed out. Is he a court-ordered attorney? No, Susan. He is her actual attorney, a hired attorney. And supposedly, he's pretty good at what he does. So I'm hoping that he rebounds really well. Because, yeah, I'm YT, Glenda. So I don't know, man. I wasn't following him. Not even that, but I need you to be louder. I need you to make points. Right? Because he was whispering. He was very like, that's not catching anybody. I need you to catch the attention of the people. Let's be real. It's all an act, right? Court cases are about what attorney not only can show a receipt, but tell a story along with it. I need you to get me engrossed in the story. You know what I mean? It's all about the story you tell. And that guy, I don't even know what that was. So hopefully he does better with cross-examination and questioning witnesses, and maybe he's got a play-by-play of what's about to happen next. I hope that's what happens. So I guess we shall see. Guys, do me a favor. I am not restricted as of yet. So now if you guys can repost and share it out, I appreciate it, because now it'll push us out. Yeah, because y'all know. He should have painted a picture for them. Absolutely, Chatter. He did not. He did not paint a picture. That's the problem.
If everybody will, you can just hold that right arrow to your right, look down and just share it to your story,
Glenda.
and that will go to every one of your followers. And people just throwing.
You know, that's the one thing I hate about TikTok, though, is they don't let you stream the stuff. It's wild. Like, it's not like this mouth ain't got commentary, because I promise, like, there's going to be points where y'all are going to tell me to shut up and mute myself. Copy link does that too, Tammy. I don't know. So we got 20 minutes.
Okay, I looked it up. He has done several insanity cases and gotten people off on insanity. So
All right.
Yes, he's did hundreds of cases of murder trials, but he has done multiple insanity cases in that area, and that is why they picked him.
That's interesting. All right. All right. All right. I'll give him a shot. I mean, that wasn't good, but again, that can be, he could be better at everything else. So I'm going to try and I'm going to forget he just did that.
Maybe he wants to take the emotion out when it gets emotional. Maybe he wants to take that away.
It definitely
Do you know
is
what I mean?
possible.
And say, look at the facts, and so
And not the
maybe him
emotion.
being sort of straight faced and a bit coldish or whatever you want to say is what they will do when everyone's getting really emotional because of what they're seeing or hearing. It may be that he brings it back.
Thank you, Glenda. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate it. No, you're absolutely right. Maybe he is trying to pull the emotion. All right, I'm gonna give this guy a second chance. All right, I'm gonna trust the process. Ivory's gonna trust the process.
You know how I am. I'm Googling too, and I'm like, how many cases has he won?
Thank you, Glenda.
Has he done any postpartum cases? No, but he's done several insanity cases and gotten people off on insanity instead of, first degree.
Yeah. Parody said, I like him. Do you really? I don't know how I feel about him yet. I don't know. I just did not pick up what he just put down. But again, there may be some method to his madness, right? So he's the lawyer. I'm not. We aren't. So I'm going to trust the process for her. I just feel like, man, there could have been a better show. But then again, you're right, one and only, because the prosecution kind of put on this big emotional bang. She's getting all, I can't talk through it. She put the bands around these children's necks, and like the prosecutor couldn't talk, right? Like they were getting all emotional. So maybe he was trying to bring down that level of emotion, like, stop it now. Here's the facts. And that's why he was coming out with these charts that he was coming out with. So yeah, definitely. There is no motive to this. Anybody see a motive? What could the motive possibly be? If she didn't want to be a mother anymore and she loved her kids, she wouldn't have killed them, right? Like, she would have just killed herself. There was no motive to killing those children other than feeling like she absolutely needed to. I can see if there were issues with her husband and he was trying to take the kids from her. Like, there just was no motivation there.
Yeah, it's not like it was a bad relationship or anything, or because they said about she was wanting to escape. But escape from what?
Yeah.
Escape from the voice. It's not. Yeah, I didn't get that. And obviously the prosecution, they use the word choice, which we all picked up. You choose to be, she chose to not have help.
Yeah.
Where did you get that from? She asked loads of times, so I think that word sticks with me, and if that's how they're going to play it, it's like, well, she could have done this, she could have done that, but that's in hindsight, isn't it?
Yeah. Loopy just said, can you imagine the prosecution? I can't imagine not being emotional. No, I absolutely agree. I totally understand the emotion. This is absolutely emotional. Like, I totally get it.
I just think
people need to realize when they're watching this, she's not saying she's not guilty. She knows she's guilty. She is stating, I was not in my right mind. I went insane, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. Oop, I didn't mean to mute myself over there, guys. Yeah. I don't know. I just feel like I don't know how people are seeing that this is not a case of psychosis. Like, what is the motive? Why would she decide that last minute she wanted to kill her kids and herself? And do we really believe that this woman went and committed herself to psych hospitals, put herself in programs, all of that because she wanted to play around with some Prozac? She was a nurse. Let's be real. If she wanted some good meds, she really could have found a way to get them. Like, you don't need to be sitting there trying to be like, oh, put me on Seroquel, and like, it makes no sense. The whole, she planned this for a year and pretended to have psychiatric issues. ZT, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Doesn't make any sense. Now, it just doesn't make any sense to me. Absolutely. It sounds like the voices told her to.
Did anyone hear anything that they didn't know? Like I didn't know that she'd done the pills as well. I didn't know that.
Oh, I did.
Did
Yeah.
anyone hear anything this morning that you didn't know about, when we've looked into it before?
Yeah, I knew she did the pills. I knew she did the wrists and the neck, and then I knew she jumped out the window.
Right. It was just all jumping out the window. That was the major thing, isn't it? So
The one thing
she done with the things.
The one thing I learned this morning is that his office was in the basement.
Yeah.
And so that's where she took the kids. Was she in in a psychosis that she was looking for him to help her and he wasn't there?
Definitely possible. It makes you wonder why the basement. That's a good question. Why the basement?
And that's why we need the plan of the house.
Yeah.
We need a plan of the house.
Do you guys
how it's structured?
You guys remember Andrea Yates? Sorry. Andrea Yates, she actually drowned the children, but she laid them in the bed. Remember, she laid the kids in the bed and propped them up and yeah, I wonder why the basement. But then again, I don't know.
Do you think she strangled them with workout belts, unfortunately?
Maybe the older kid ran to the basement looking for dad, and then she had to bring him down there. I don't know. I can't imagine.
Two were in
the left side in his office.
One in the office.
Yeah. Right. And then the right side, I believe, was the gym area, the in-home gym.
But Susan, she was on what? How many different medications was there? 15?
In total, 13, 15, something like that. Yeah. It's up in the too many, right? It's up there. It's up in the team.
Yeah. And she tried to admit herself into a mental institution. She went to the doctor several times, even the day prior, right?
Yeah. Yep.
She went and said, I want to hurt my kids. I want to hurt myself, blah, blah, blah. And they never took it seriously. They just kept giving her the cocktail of medications. And unfortunately, she did that to her kids, and she's now paraplegic because she tried to take her own life too. She's in a wheelchair. So it's just guilt by insanity and not first degree that they're trying to get with. It's insanity. In my opinion, it is insanity.
So Lisa,
also seeing the pictures of her arms and neck.
Yeah, that I agree.
I'm
glad he did that. I need him to pull them back up later. But yeah.
Because how can you say that was superficial?
No, that hurt. That definitely hurt.
You don't really feel pain though, because my daughter doesn't. My daughter can do some pretty bad damage, but then if she stubs her toe, it hurts. But when she's doing it on purpose and she knows and she gets that feeling, like, I don't know how she deals with the pain, what she does. I really don't. But then she can be really like, feel pain in another way because she's not in control of doing it at that time. But yeah, God knows how she puts up with pain. I really don't. It's like the numb to it.
So what I do know, and again, anybody who works in psych, correct me if I'm wrong, but from my experiences, having worked in psych, and again, it was not a lot, like it's not my specialty. I do know a lot of these people who go through these mental health issues. They do cut things to try and get them to snap into reality. They cause pain to try and snap back into reality to see if it's real. Does that make sense? Like she may not have been trying to kill herself with that. She may have been trying to hurt herself to see if it was real.
What they do is when you don't work, they try something else and try something else because that's what happened with me. When I took something, when I hid a certain thing at home, she'd try something else and then she'd run and try and get what she needed from somewhere else. And every time I tried to like lock stuff up and things, she'd try something else and it was just never ending and it just went. So the fact that she's done like 3 or 4 things and then the window was the last, it's like she was trying to get that release, but it didn't happen. Then she tried something else and that didn't happen. And that's why I didn't know there were 3 or 4 things before dumping. I didn't know that.
I think she just wanted to make sure she was gonna be gone. I think she did everything she could and I'm gonna do it all these ways and I want to make sure like there's no other way. If they pump me, I can't get, if whatever. But I think a lot of people on this who are like, oh, she's guilty, she's monster. I don't think they know the details, the actual details. Because when you look at it, absolutely what she did was horrific. Those children did not deserve that. There's no excuse to that. But then she's not wanting an excuse. She's wanting help still.
She's still begging for help, and we want to stick her in prison and not a psychiatric facility. Make that make sense. This woman was clearly asking for help. There was clearly, the prosecution literally just admitted that she had a history of psychiatric issues. So why is it so far-fetched to believe this woman went into a psychosis? Oh, because she planned it. What do you just get dumb? You go into psychosis, you get dumb. In fact, it's the opposite. You can still plan. You could still do how many people do we know? They still do all of these things in a psychotic episode. It doesn't mean you go dumb, right? In fact, it makes you more clever. And I don't think people understand that. And this is the problem.
Court, by the way.
She absolutely is. I know I texted her earlier too when I was late because I had to go grab my kids. And I was like, listen, I'll be ready for court in a few minutes, but she might not be awake yet. I know she thinks it's 11. I don't know. Not Jamie.
She's not been feeling good either, so she might have another migraine.
Jamie not trying to get sick on us and trying to have a life and all that stuff. What is Jamie? I'm just kidding, guys. I believe she needs a psych facility. And I want people to understand that's what she's asking for. She's not asking to be let loose into society like, oh, I was just crazy then, and now I'm good, and I'm just going to walk around. This trial really is ultimately about, does she sit in prison or does she sit in a psychiatric facility? That's really ultimately what it comes down to, the criminal responsibility of it. She has to live with this for the rest of her life. And she was just tearing up there. We just saw it. She was getting upset. You could see the tears in her eyes. Like, I can't imagine what she's going through having survived this.
I still want to know how her husband got a divorce.
Yeah, that's a great question. That's something we need to look into. I don't know. Because if she's not in her right mind, she can't. But then if she's not in her right mind, isn't that an excuse for the courts in some states?
Yeah.
For a divorce?
And,
that's standard,
yeah.
Yeah.
And for everybody saying he got married a couple of years ago, he didn't get married till this past April.
Yeah, just a couple of months ago, yeah. And they do not have a child as far as I can see.
I'm not going to fault him on that because he lost his children, he lost his wife, he lost his whole family. And, he deserves to have love. And he's not the one that did the act. He
he's the one standing behind her because he understands, but he deserves to start a life with somebody and, you know,
Yeah.
move on in life. And he will never move on. He'll always miss his children, but he deserves that chance for
I don't know what I just did.
love. I do think it's weird that he married a doctor and his mom's a nurse and Lindsay's a nurse, so he must like women in the healthcare.
A fertility doctor at that.
Yeah,
So I don't
a
listen.
fertility
Each his
doctor.
own though. I'm not going to sit here and judge the man. The man went through something way traumatic. You know what I mean? So
I don't fault him at all.
me neither. Me neither.
It's just like if somebody's spouse passes away and then a couple years later they get remarried, they want to feel loved again, you know. Somebody said, why didn't he help her with her sleep? He did.
I'm sure he tried.
He
Yeah.
helped her any way he could. He's not a professional. I mean, there's only so much anybody could have done. It was on the doctors who were just giving her meds and not.
Yeah. Guys, I'm going to go use the restroom before court starts back up again, and I'm going to go do my thing. And I don't know what I have on my ring here.
Wash your hands.
So, yes, I sure will do that. And use soap and everything. All right, guys, you take over. I'll be right back.
I think it says a lot that he got married before trial, honestly. And he's still standing by her.
That's what I was trying to say yesterday about the fact that he doesn't want things shown. Who is he trying? The children aren't here to have that attached to their name, unfortunately. But who is he trying to protect from?
Maybe himself.
That's just what I was trying to say yesterday. Maybe it's if he has kids, he doesn't want them here having to explain this and be connected. And I just don't know with the kids not being here. It's not like you're trying to protect their identities or anything, because that doesn't matter. Well, it does matter, but you know what I mean? Who is he trying to do with what he tried to get eliminated and not showing and everything?
I just think maybe he couldn't go through hearing it.
Yeah.
Again.
I know. It's just me. It's a man in it, so he's starting a new life. I just wondered why. You know, if he was like still in love with her and whatever, would he have done that? I don't know. Or is he trying to protect his life from now on? I don't know.
I think it's because it's traumatic enough, and this isn't a case of is she guilty or did a intruder come in and whatever and pushed her out the window and whatever. This is a case of just insanity. So yes, the way the children passed, yes, it's important to know and stuff like that, but it's also more medical aspect of it. So some of that stuff, I don't know if it might be because it's traumatic. I mean, I couldn't imagine going through that. I don't know. Yeah, it will still be shown in court, everything. It's just the 911 calls not, and the children's autopsies are not. And
What they decide on the journal?
anybody know? Do you know, Parody?
I haven't
What's
seen it.
decided? Hi, Pamela.
Hi, Pamela.
Well, I mean, it's already out there, right? The journal entries. I don't know if they're going to use them though for the jury. They might. They should. There's hundreds of people that are going to be testifying. You heard it was in. Okay. Yeah, there's journal entries. There's just so much evidence of mental health problems during that period of time at a huge level. So who thinks, and no judgment in here, who thinks that she should be found of first degree, and who thinks she should be able to plead insanity and get that granted? Put a one in
insanity.
Yep. One in chat for first degree, and 2 for insanity.
All right, I'm back. I see 2s. I think it's insanity. I don't know. Depending on what I see from the prosecution, I don't know that you can change my mind at this point. Have they kept the autopsy out of the 3 children? Yes, Devlin. They will show the jury. They, however, will not show the media. Yeah, Tammy, I agree with you.
Just not the media?
Yeah, they will show the jury, but it will be kept from the media. And I guess there's documentary people there.
Okay. Oh, really?
Well, that's what I heard them say. I don't know that for a fact. That's just what they were saying in the last court hearing.
Can you repeat that, Ivory?
So they will show, the jury will see the 911 call and see the pictures. The media, however, will not. They will not allow for the media. Yeah. So somebody just said, who just said that? Pitbull Mom said, if she did the research, then it's a 1. Why can we not research if we're in a psychotic state? Like, I mean, she could still have researched the time and stuff like that. Isn't that psychotic in and of itself? Like, I'm curious what, and as far as we know, I don't know what she Googled, but as far as we know, what she Googled was something along the lines of, and don't quote me on this, guys, am I a psychopath or something to that extent?
And you got to remember, it was that.
And Pitbull Mom, that wasn't coming at you. I was just making a statement. Please don't think that was me coming at you.
And you got to remember, it was that day. It wasn't months ahead of time either.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that. Thank you, Michelle, for the heart me. I appreciate it. Yeah. Hold on, guys. Guys, I need to mute 1 second. Sorry, the kids, I had to deal with something. Well, is anybody there? We're still on break over here on, I think I'm watching Law and Crime.
I just said it's been a long 15 minutes, hasn't it?
Yeah, still nothing going on over there. So, I don't know. I feel like I'm curious. I want to see what the prosecution has to say to see if they can change my mind. I don't know that there's anything they can present to me. This whole stance that, organized thought and stuff like that, like she planned it, just doesn't make any sense to me. Yeah, Faithless, you can ask a question. Did you want to come up, Faithless, or just ask it in the chat? I don't think she planned it. I think she had a psychotic breakdown. I think both can be true, Michelle, at the same time. Yeah, you can come up. Hey, Faithless.
Hey, Ivory. I'm not sure whether, I don't know how the mod's done, but over here we can put polls up like in a little blue box with numbers where you
I said before. Yeah, we don't get hit as much if we put helpline numbers up.
Oh, yeah, we could do that.
Yeah, like every so often, I think the algorithm pulls out if ever, because I've been saying in the chat, look after yourself. We do a lot of that when we're doing things like this in the UK. We do a lot of like you say about heart rhythms and that every so often say if you trigger, do you know what I mean? And I think that the algorithm pulls out if you're doing them things and if you're like taking care, of people's mental health.
Right.
So we find we don't get hit as much for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a thought, just in case there's somebody in the chat that is feeling like Lindsay feels they've got no way out. So there's always help numbers in the live.
We can definitely do that. Daisy, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. All right, Judge is back. In the meantime, I will.
I'm going to jump down because I've actually got a migraine. So.
All right. In the meantime, guys, if I'll Google the number and I'll put it up.
Yeah, might as well try it and see if we can look at the screen.
Yeah. Let me.
I'm interested to see Patrick's mannerisms. Well, be a question.
The only way I found to do it is if you put a picture up as your green screen and turn your camera of Lindsay Clancy, and then as you put your phone up to it, you can just kind of scroll in on where that one part where that certain person is standing,
right?
And it will show them, but you'll still have the picture on. And when I do that, I don't get hit.
Let me see if I can do that.
Trial of Commonwealth versus Lindsay Clancy. All parties are present,
Do I have a
including the
picture of
defendant.
her?
All right. Well, members of the jury, thank you for your patience with us. We're now going to begin the presentation of evidence. Commonwealth, you call your first witness, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. Commonwealth calls Patrick Clancy.
I sent you one in Messenger.
Oh, I don't know what this picture is of.
Oh, Olay, yes. Now we know what you use.
That's so funny.
There's one in Messenger if you want to use that.
Hold on. Let me see what I got here in my camera roll. Oh my gosh. There's a picture of Enzo. All right. How's that?
Okay, now flip your camera.
Now do what? Turn it?
Flip your camera, yeah. Now start adjusting your phone until you can see somebody in the courtroom.
All right, good morning, sir. I'm going to ask
That's
you
so
to
funny.
speak into that microphone. You can be seated if you'd like, if you're more comfortable. Okay. All right, come up, please.
Your Honor. Good morning. Can you please state and spell your name for the record?
Yeah, my name's Patrick Clancy. It's
I can't get it close enough to do that.
PATRICKCLANCY.
And what is your date of birth?
It's just not
June
working.
15th, 1988.
What city do you live in now?
New York.
Do you have
What
like
do you
some
do for a
books
living?
you can stack your phone
I work
on?
in tech.
It's literally right
How
in
long
front of
have
my
you worked in
screen.
tech?
Okay, kind of back up a little bit. Sometimes you just gotta back up.
14
Nope,
years.
not working.
And were you previously married to
Put a
person
banner.
Lindsay Clancy?
there we go.
Yes,
And you're divorced now, is that correct?
correct.
Do you see that person in the courtroom today?
Yes.
Could you point to them and describe something they're wearing?
It's not necessary.
She's wearing a pink shirt.
Record will reflect the identification of the defendant.
Thank you. Where did you meet the defendant?
All right, guys, Pat, num
In
over
South
there on
Boston.
TikTok.
And when was that?
I think it was May 2013.
And how did you meet her?
Num thumbs, tap,
Through my
tap,
cousin.
tap. Thank you, Kendra, for sharing the live.
And would it be accurate to state that your cousin had been college roommates of the defendant?
Yes.
And at some point in time, did you start dating?
Yes.
And around what time was that?
July 2013.
Did you eventually move in together?
Yes.
Do you remember when that was?
September 2015
And where did you live?
in Quincy.
How long did you live in Quincy?
1 year.
And where did you go after that?
We bought a house in Weymouth.
And how long did you live in Weymouth?
2 years.
Did you eventually get married?
Yes.
And when was that?
December 2016.
And was that while you were living in Weymouth?
Yes.
Did you have your first child when you were living in Weymouth?
Yes.
And what was her name?
Cora.
And what was her date of birth?
December 24th, 2017.
He looks so young.
Prior to getting married, did the defendant ever tell you she had taken psychiatric medication while in nursing school?
Not that I recall.
We have got to the point where literally anybody can build a fully working app without knowing how to code. This is base 44.
Else.
Yeah, we moved to Duxbury.
And what was your address in Duxbury?
47 Summer Street.
And do you recall when you moved there?
I believe it was July 2018.
And where were you working at that time?
I was working for a startup called Automation Anywhere.
At some point in time, did you start working for Microsoft?
Yes.
And when was that?
May 2020.
And when you worked for Microsoft, did you go to an office or did you work from home?
I worked from home.
And was that from 2020 onward that you worked from home?
No, I started working from home in 2018.
2018, okay. So from 2018 up until, let's say, 2023, you were working from home, is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah, I feel bad for him too.
And did you have an office in your home which you worked out of?
Eventually, yeah.
And where was that located?
In the basement.
And was that a finished basement?
Yes.
No, he worked off the washing machine.
Going back to after Cora was born, do you recall the defendant having any physical issues after the birth?
Yeah.
And what were those?
I think there was a lot of tearing and she bled a lot.
Did it take her a while to recover physically?
I would say so, yeah.
Did she have maternity leave at that time?
Yes.
Where was she working?
Mass General Hospital.
And what was she doing there?
She's a labor and delivery nurse.
At that point in time, when she had Cora in 2017, how long had she been a nurse?
3 years, maybe.
And do you recall how long her maternity leave was with Cora?
That was the shortest of the three. I want to say it was 10 or 11 weeks.
And did you have paternity leave at that time?
Yeah, I had 2 weeks.
2 weeks, okay. When you went back after the 2 weeks back to work in the home, were there any issues that you noticed the defendant having?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just want to correct an earlier statement. I was working for Pegasystems when Cora was born.
Okay. And then eventually you worked for Microsoft?
Yeah.
Okay. And so after the 2 weeks of your paternity leave, the defendant was still on maternity leave,
This
correct?
Canadian Queen, it's happening
Yes.
right now.
Okay. And did she have to take any psychiatric medications at that time?
Not that I know of. She had a lot of anxiety, but
Okay. So you're saying that she had some anxiety at that time. Is that correct?
yeah.
How did that manifest, or how did you know that?
She just really struggled with the date of going back to work.
So immediately after having Cora, as she healed physically, what was her mood like when you're both on leave?
It was great. It was good.
Good. Okay.
I mean, relatively, yeah.
And so did the anxiety start as it became closer in time to when she had to go back to work?
Yes.
How many shifts was she working at that time?
Before Cora was born, she was working at least 40 hours, maybe more. After she went back to work, it was, I think, initially just one.
One shift?
Yeah.
And was that a 12-hour shift?
It was per diem.
Per diem.
And then she eventually did 2 shifts.
Okay.
I think it was 20 weeks.
After 20 weeks, she moved to 2 shifts?
I'm sorry, it was 20 hours a week.
20 hours a week, okay. And so from the time she worked her way back up to 20 hours a week at work until she had your next child, did it remain that 20 hours per week that she worked?
Pretty much, yeah.
And did you have any assistance in the home during that time after she went back to work? A nanny or a babysitter?
Yeah, we had babysitters. We had a babysitter who came probably 12 hours a week.
And did that typically happen after your wife had a shift, that the
Was that
nanny or
2
the
hours a
babysitter would
day?
be there?
Yeah, so she could sleep.
Did the defendant work overnights?
Yeah.
So we were only allowing a woman to sleep 12 hours a week?
And how long did you have that nanny or babysitter for?
Several years.
Do you remember her name?
We called her Miss Jen
Miss Jen? Do you remember her last name?
Shanahan.
And then you had a second child, is that correct?
Yes,
And what was their name?
Dawson.
And what was Dawson's date of birth?
September 30th, 2019.
And was Miss Jen still helping out in the home at that time?
Yeah.
And what was Dawson's delivery like?
Pretty traumatic.
How so?
He was in I think a breech position. So he came out in I guess I don't know much about it, but not an ideal way. And it caused just significant bruising and tearing.
So again, did the defendant with this second pregnancy have some pain and difficulty physically healing from the birth?
Yeah, much more so than Cora.
And was she on maternity leave at that time?
Yes.
How many weeks leave did she have at that time?
I don't recall, but I think it was more than the.
You don't recall, you don't recall.
Traditional 12.
That's it,
I want to say
period.
it
You
was
don't
13
recall.
or 14, maybe more.
Don't assume, you don't recall. They took him off the screen, that's why he's not there anymore.
Page 13. If I may approach.
You don't have to keep telling me the pages, that's okay.
I could have you look at page 13 and just read yourselves lines 6 through 10, and then just look up when you're finished.
Let me see if I can get this for you guys.
Does that refresh your memory as to how much maternity leave the defendant had after Dawson's birth?
Yeah.
And what was it?
18.
18 weeks?
Mhm.
Is that correct?
I believe so.
And, you know, after dealing with the physical pain of birth and starting to heal, how was her demeanor and experience during that maternity leave?
I think it was fine at first. It was always when she had to go back to work, that's when she struggled. So,
Okay. So that was a pattern that you saw after
Yeah.
her baby. Maternity leave was good, and then she'd struggle going back to work?
she just had a really hard time being separated from them.
What was the plan for how many shifts she would work or how many hours she would work after Dawson was born?
I believe it was the same thing.
And in terms of Ms. Shanahan, the babysitter, you had mentioned before that she was there about 12 hours a week. Did that stay consistent after Dawson's birth, or was it more or less?
Probably consistent.
After Dawson's birth, did the defendant ever tell you whether she was on any psychiatric medication after Dawson's birth?
No.
Did she seek treatment or tell you she sought treatment after Dawson's birth?
Yeah, she got a therapist for a short period of time, but it didn't last very long.
Did she tell you that at the time or later?
At the time.
Okay. And did she have any psychiatric hospitalizations or commitments at that time?
No.
What about after Cora's birth? Any psychiatric hospitalizations or treatments?
No.
Was there a time after Dawson's birth where she wanted to declutter your garage?
Maybe at some point.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did you assist her with that?
Yeah.
Okay. And how was that done?
We had a lot of stuff to throw away, and I think we sold some stuff on Facebook Marketplace. We just had a lot of stuff.
So did the two of you go through the items in the garage and organize it into what you would keep, what you would throw away, and what you would sell?
Yes.
Okay. And so it was very organized?
What?
I would say so, yeah.
And you finished the project, is that correct?
It was always ongoing.
Now, eventually you had your third child, correct?
Yeah.
And what was their name?
Callan.
Not they
And what was
cleaned the
his name?
garage. Oh, she's guilty.
May 26th.
She's guilty. She cleaned the garage.
2022.
Can you describe that delivery for us?
It was.
Yes,
great.
Dreamer.
From what I could tell, it was relatively quick. It was during the day. We were both smiling after, and I don't think there was as much physical trauma.
Nothing compared to what happened with Cora or Dawson, is that correct?
Correct.
Did the defendant
Are you
have
asking her
maternity
husband?
leave after Callan's birth?
Yeah.
And how long was that leave?
She never went back.
How long was it planned for initially?
I want to say 18 weeks.
And were you on paternity leave as well?
Yes.
And how long was your paternity leave?
12 weeks.
So with Callan being born on May 26, 2022, the two of you were home with the children that summer on leave, is that correct?
Yeah.
What was family life
come
life
on.
like during that time period, those summer months?
It was great. We had a lot of time off. I was able to spend a lot of time with, I spent a lot of time with Cora and Dawson. So I would take them around, the playgrounds and birthday parties and stuff like that.
And what would Lindsay be doing while you were with Cora and Dawson?
Sometimes she'd come with
You
us,
get
with
guys
Callan, but
sometimes over there,
oftentimes we
because I just got
did kind of
hit.
like a divide and conquer. So she'd be home with Callan and I'd be out with the older kids.
Yeah, Sandra, I don't
And what types
understand
of
the line
family
of questioning
activities
with the garage, cleaning it all.
did you all do during those summer months?
We went on a couple vacations. We went to the beach. We went out on our boat and went to friends' houses.
During those months, when you're going to the beach and out on the boat and visiting with friends, were there any signs of anxiety in the defendant during those months?
I would say starting in September, yes, but in the previous months, not so much.
When had she been scheduled to go back to work?
I don't remember the exact date. I think it was October.
So again, it was that pattern of as it became closer in time to go back to work,
Yeah.
she started to struggle?
Yeah.
That's understandable too, isn't it? I did.
During the times when she would get anxious when it was time to go back to work, and she would start being anxious. Did you ever have any difficulty understanding her when she spoke?
No.
And did she ever exhibit any behavior that made you concerned enough to call a doctor or want to commit her?
No.
When she was showing this anxiety, what were you seeing in her behavior?
Just a lot of stress. There were days where she had all 3 kids, and there's different nap schedules and different needs. So it was just really stressful.
Okay. And you're still working in the basement office at this point after Callan's born, correct?
I went back to work late August.
Okay. And when you work downstairs, how often would you come upstairs during the day?
All the time for lunch, or just to say hi.
Were there
This is the
times when
prosecuting attorney, the prosecutor.
Lindsay would ask you to hold the baby in the office while she was doing something?
So, yeah.
And were there times when you would watch one or more of the children while she took another to a doctor's appointment or to an errand or something like that?
Yeah, if it worked out with the schedule, yeah.
Okay. What was the plan in terms of how many shifts or hours she was going to work after Callan?
I believe the plan was 2 shifts per week, but there was a lot of flexibility. She could have done really anything.
Do you recall saying previously that you were going to start off with 1 shift and hopefully move?
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44.
You said there were some options, correct? What were those options if that didn't work out?
Well, I always put money aside in basically our own maternity account, just so that if she needed more flexibility, we planned for that. So
if she needed more time off, more than what her work would provide for her, you were financially secure enough to afford that at that time.
Did she know that? Or because then it would have been a just don't go back to work kind of thing, right?
During this time, in the fall of 2022, were Cora and Dawson attending preschool?
Yes.
And where was that?
Learning Sprouts.
And where is Learning Sprouts located?
Duxbury.
How often were they attending Learning Sprouts?
Full days Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and a half day on Thursday.
And what was a full day? What hours?
I think it was 9 to 4.
9 a.m. to 4 p.m.?
I think so, yeah.
And what was a half day?
Like 9 to 12:30. I think they might have had some days where they started early. I can't remember.
Okay. But basically all day, working hours all day, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then the mornings on Thursday. Is that right?
Was she trying to say she had nothing to do? She was not as busy as.
And who would do drop-offs for school?
We both would.
And what about pickups?
Both of us.
Together or take turns?
Usually we would take turns.
Now, at some point in time after Callan was born, did you hire a nanny?
Yes.
And when was that?
I think it was in August or September.
Of 2022?
Yeah.
And who was that nanny?
Lainey. I don't remember her last name.
Was it Elaine Rossi? Sound familiar?
Yeah.
And do you recall how many days per week Elaine was going to work when you hired her?
I think it was 12 hours.
But it wouldn't be 12 hours altogether. It would be spread out over the week. Is that right?
Correct.
And who was she hired to take care of?
Everyone. But mainly it was going to be Callan.
Both.
Because Cora and Dawson would be at
A
school.
witness for both.
For the most part, yeah.
And what was the plan for when Elaine would work? Was it that same type of after Lindsay worked shifts or something different?
Yeah, the goal was after Lindsay would work, I mean, she never went back to work, but I think we wanted to get her just like oriented with our house and the kids. So we had her start before, and then she was amazing. She was an amazing caregiver, but eventually we decided to let her go because Lindsay was home anyways.
So when you initially hired her in August or September, you said Lindsay was going back to work in October. So is that what you're talking about, that give her that month or so, give Elaine that month or so to get situated and acclimated to the house?
Yeah.
Okay. Have the kids get used to her. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay. Did she also, Elaine, did she also do some cleaning, laundry, and food prep?
Thank you, Glenda.
Yeah, she was amazing.
Thank you so much.
Now, during this time frame, and again, in the end of summer, fall period of 2022, what types of activities were Cora and Dawson doing?
Gymnastics. Are you talking about organized activities or just in general?
Organized.
I only remember gymnastics.
Did they both do the gymnastics?
Yeah.
And then were they also participating, maybe not in organized situations, but in swimming, soccer, skiing, things like that?
Yeah, they were doing swimming. And yeah, Cora and Dawson did skiing. Yeah, Cora started doing soccer.
Hashtag thank you for the follow. I appreciate it.
And who took them skiing?
I did.
And as in terms of the swimming, where would you do that?
We did it.
They're seriously trying to make it seem like this woman did absolutely nothing. Is that what they're,
I think.
is that way the prosecution
And
going?
then Lindsay took them somewhere in, I think, Plymouth. I don't
Rudy,
remember
this
where
is
it was.
Patrick
So you would
Clancy.
each
This
take
is
them
the husband
swimming
of
at
Lindsay
various times.
Clancy.
Yeah.
He's currently testifying.
Did you also do some swimming at the Kingsbury Club?
Yes.
And what is the Kingsbury Club?
It's like a gym with a pool, and they had childcare, so sometimes they would hang out in the kids' room and we would go work out.
And is that in Duxbury?
It's on the Kingston-Duxbury line. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah.
Okay. And so you could drop the kids off at the daycare portion and go work out or swim or something like that?
Yeah, or we could go with them and go swimming.
Okay. Did Lindsay work out?
Yes,
She was very health conscious?
I think so.
And were you aware that she had been an athlete in both high school and college?
Yes.
Do you recall what she did?
Competitive cheerleading.
Now, when you were together, what type of exercise would she do or did she prefer?
I'm curious to see where this plane gets
She
landed.
did a lot of running. She did the Peloton, and she did there's like some program called Beachbody, I think.
Do you recall when she started Beachbody?
Maybe in the spring of 2022. I'm not sure.
So right before having Callan, would that be accurate?
Probably, yeah.
When you returned to work, and you said that was in August, correct?
Yes.
Hey guys, I'm
What
going to
was
excuse
the
myself 1 second.
defendant's
It just
demeanor when
started
you
storming
returned
and
to
I got to go shut my windows to my car.
Increased anxiety and definitely, stressed out.
Do you recall describing her as slightly stressed but in good spirits?
Yeah.
And when she was stressed out, when she was showing some anxiety, how did that manifest?
I don't really know how to describe it. I guess it's just any way you can tell that somebody's stressed out. And I don't know, she would say, I'm not looking forward to going back to work. I remember once she said it's just so unnatural to be separated from your newborn, stuff like that.
So she didn't want to go back to work? Is that what you're saying?
I think she did. It was just a really difficult transition for her.
And do you recall attending a wedding on September 17th, 2022?
Yeah.
And where was that wedding?
New Hampshire.
Was it just you and Lindsay that went, or did the whole family go?
We brought Kellen.
And when you were at that wedding, do you recall having a conversation with Lindsay about medication?
Yes.
What did she say to you?
We were walking downtown and she said, I think I'm going to start taking Zoloft.
And did she tell you why she wanted to start taking Zoloft?
She said, I think it's really going to help with my anxiety and with going back to work.
And did she tell you how she was going to go about getting Zoloft?
Yeah, I asked her, how are you going to get Zoloft? It's a prescription. And she said, usually just.
Come on. No, you didn't. No, you didn't ask that question. Does anybody else feel like you didn't ask that question?
That she was going to see a psychiatrist?
Yeah,
how are you going to get it? I'm going to go buy it from the guy down the corner.
When she did that, did she tell you
that doesn't sound real?
Who she was going to see?
My husband's never asked me, where are you going to get the prescription?
Did you eventually learn the name
Obviously,
of the person?
Whoa.
I'm sorry.
I just put the budgeting out
that
in
just
base
didn't
44.
sound real. That just didn't sound real.
Nina just built.
Jennifer Tufts.
And did Lindsay tell you when she started seeing Dr. Jennifer Tufts?
No.
Did you learn, or strike that, did Lindsay tell you when she received the medication and when she started it?
No.
Oh, come on. You know everything else about her.
Correct that. It's
when
not
she
exactly,
works out, when she does it, but
well,
you
let me
didn't know
just
that
ask the
she didn't
question
mention
first.
the medication she's taken.
When did you have a conversation with Lindsay about the medication she was on?
Eventually, yeah, but I didn't know the start date.
Okay. And so when did this conversation take place, this eventual conversation?
Probably the end of October.
Okay. And at that point, what did Lindsay tell you about the
It
medication
sounds
and how
like
she
he
was
was trying to
taking
say, yes, she was psychotic, but trust me, it ain't my fault.
I
I
don't
had
remember
nothing to do with
exactly,
nothing.
but I learned that she was taking the Zoloft, and I don't remember really too much about it after that. She was just taking it, and we were seeing how it went.
And did you notice any changes in her physically during that time frame that she was on it and you weren't aware she was on it?
At the time, no, I don't think I did.
And did you notice any changes in her emotionally during that time when she was on it, but you weren't aware she was on it?
Yeah, she wasn't really improving. She just kind of seems to be gradually becoming more in like a depressed state.
And how was that manifesting? What were you noticing?
It was just small things. I was planning a trip with Cora to San Francisco, and she was nervous about us going. And I remember we went to a Halloween event, and just leading up to it, I remember it just kind of seemed like she didn't want to go for some reason.
Okay.
Maybe she wasn't feeling good.
Now, do you recall learning that she had actually obtained the prescription the day before she told you she was going to ask for the prescription?
I did later learn that, yeah.
Okay. So she's telling you at the wedding that she is going to ask to take this medication and going to see a psychiatrist to get on that medication, but she actually already had the prescription. Is that correct?
Correct. I don't think she started taking it yet, but she already had it.
Okay. And
it does look like he glanced at Lindsay.
Lindsay tell you how long she took the medication for?
She may have. I don't remember the exact time frame. I just remember she took it for a period of time, and then her sleep started to suffer, so she stopped taking it.
And did she tell you whether or not she spoke to her provider, her doctor, about the troubles she was having?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay. And did Lindsay tell you that she was advised to double the dose of the Zoloft?
She may have. I don't remember.
Page 31. You could look at lines 20 22.
Oh, she's giving him something.
Okay, yeah, apparently she did.
Does that refresh your memory?
Yeah.
And so did Lindsay tell you that she was supposed to double the dose?
I guess she did, yeah.
Did you notice any changes in her sleep during that time when she was on the medication, but you weren't aware she was on it?
Eventually, yeah.
When was that?
I don't remember the exact dates. But she just, one night she said, do you mind? She started it by saying, I'm not mad or anything, but do you mind sleeping in the basement? And letting me just sleep in our room with Callan. And then you can take the monitors down in the basement. And if Cora and Dawson get up, you can get up with them. She said, I've just been having a lot of trouble sleeping. And I'm hoping that like if there's less in and out, then there'll be less disruption.
That doesn't make
Had you
any
noticed
sense to me.
prior
Does
to
that
her
make
telling you
any
this
sense?
that she was up
Can
a
you
lot or
sleep in
having
the
trouble sleeping,
basement
like
and
physically
I'll
seeing
sleep with
her
the
awake?
baby?
No, not that I recall.
I'd be
And
like,
did
you
you in
sleep with the
fact start
baby,
sleeping in the
I'll take the
basement for a
monitor, I'll
period
go
of
to the
time?
basement to get some
I think I
sleep.
did it for
That
like
doesn't
2
make any
nights,
sense.
and then she actually
Chris
went down.
did that several times.
Okay,
He
so
slept
then you
with
went back up
babies,
to your bedroom to sleep, is that
my
correct?
kids, so I can go
And
to
how
bed.
long did
He would
Lindsay
just
sleep in the basement for after
take
that?
them and I'd go to bed sometimes.
Maybe a couple of weeks.
And so during that time frame, was she telling you that she was still having trouble sleeping?
Yes,
But you weren't actually down there watching her sleep. You're getting this information from her, correct?
correct.
What?
Were you aware that out of the Zoloft prescription she was given, she only took 7 pills?
No.
After you had the conversation with Lindsay where she said she was going to double the dose of Zoloft, did you notice any difference in her demeanor or behavior?
I would say yes. I don't know if I connected it with the doubling of her Zoloft, but over that period of time, she just kept getting worse and worse.
And what period of time was that? What month are we in?
Mid-October to the end of December.
Okay, so she got the prescription in September, started taking it in October, took 7 pills, but was having difficulty in December. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
From this medication?
Yep. Well, I don't know which medication it was from, but yeah.
Okay. At some point in time, did Lindsay switch providers?
Yes.
And why did she do that?
Because whatever she was doing with Jennifer Tufts, it wasn't working. She was only getting worse. And she thought that it would be better if she worked with, I guess, more of like a perinatal psychiatrist.
And did she get a referral or a recommendation of where to go?
I think so, yeah.
Do you know who gave her that recommendation?
It might have been my mother.
And your mother's a nurse at South Shore Hospital, correct?
Yeah.
Does she also do labor and delivery work?
Yes.
And so do you know which provider or which office she recommended?
Yeah, her name is Julie Paul.
And was she at the South Shore Perinatal Clinic?
Something like that, yeah.
Okay. And do you know when that was?
I don't know the dates on that.
Do you recall saying previously that it was towards the end of November?
Yeah, that sounds accurate, yeah.
Okay. And you said she initially saw someone named Julie Paul, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And do you know how long she saw Julie Paul at that facility?
I think it was only 4 or 5 days.
And were you aware that Julie Paul left that office?
Yes.
And do you know who Lindsay saw after Julie Paul?
Rebecca Gelata.
And was Rebecca Gelata a nurse practitioner?
Yes.
Were you aware that she also saw a licensed social worker therapist named Letitia Dukes while she was at the South Shore Perinatal Clinic?
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44.
So Lindsay never told you that she had therapy sessions with a person named Letitia Dukes during that time frame?
I don't remember any therapy sessions now.
After switching to Julie Paul and then Rebecca Gelada, did Lindsay start coming home with different prescription bottles?
Yes.
And were some of these medications that she came home with, were some of them during the time she was with Dr. Tufts?
I think some of them were, yeah.
And some of them were while she was with Julie Paul, is that correct?
Correct.
And then some while she was with nurse practitioner Gelada, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And would it be accurate to state that you provided the district attorney's office with a printout from CVS Pharmacy of all the prescriptions that were filled for Lindsay from September through January, September 2022 through January of 2023?
Yes.
Any objection?
No, of course not.
Sure, yeah.
I'm curious to
And
see where
members of
she
the jury,
goes
one
with
of the things
this.
I forgot to tell you is anything that's entered as an exhibit, you'll have with you in the deliberating room when you're deliberating. So you'll have a chance to go over that as well. So you'll have anything that's marked as an exhibit. Okay? Thank you.
Now, while she was taking these medications, the various pills, were you always with her watching and monitoring exactly what she took?
Not always, no.
Who does?
Sometimes you'd see it, sometimes you wouldn't.
Yeah.
Directing your attention to February 6th, 2023, did you go to the district attorney's office and or have your attorney go there and provide a bag of prescription medication that had belonged to Lindsay?
Yeah. I think the police took a bag of prescription medications that night, the night my kids passed away.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was a bag that I had in my truck that I was supposed to, nurse practitioner Gelada said you can bring them to like a police station. They get rid of them for you. But I never got around to it.
And where had you stored those in your truck?
In the center console. It's like underneath the center console that opens.
You have one of those center consoles that open up, but then there's another larger
Correct.
It's canned out, that's why you can't.
So was
see
it your
right
plan
now.
to bring these to a location where they could be properly disposed?
Yeah, I didn't want to just throw them in the trash. So
And these were all medications that had been prescribed in the past to Lindsay, but she was no longer taking, correct?
right.
Ron, I don't think I have any objection to any of their exhibits, so
Okay.
she doesn't have to keep showing it to me, that's
All right.
fine.
So I'll assume if you do have an objection, just
Sure.
rise, let me know. Okay, thank you.
So for the record, a bag here with 9 pill bottles as exhibit 2, please.
So they're showing an exhibit of a bag with 9 pill bottles?
Thank you.
And so looking in exhibit 2, we have the Zoloft that was prescribed by Dr. Tufts and filled on September 15th, 2022. And I think I asked you earlier, you weren't aware that only 7 pills were taken out of this, correct?
That's correct.
And then there's another prescription in here for Ativan that was filled on October 26, 2022. Were you aware that only 6 pills were taken out of that bottle?
Can you say the date again?
October 26, 2022.
And how many did it start with?
Let's see.
Yeah, how would he know this? Why would he know this?
30 pills.
Okay. I mean, I don't have those exact numbers on how many she took, but there were adjustments made on the dosage of the Ativan. So it aligns with
But the question was, were you aware that only 6 pills were taken out of this prescription?
No, but I think the context is important.
Okay.
All right. I see
Were
where
you
you're going,
aware
buddy. Okay.
that there was a prescription for buspirone or Buspar filled on October 26, 2022, in which only 2 pills were taken out of the 30 that were prescribed?
I found out about the Buspar later, and I didn't know about the number of pills taken.
And then were you aware that there was a prescription for hydroxyzine, prescription filled on October 26, 2022 for 30 pills, and that only 3 pills were taken out of this bottle?
Which
Hydroxyzine.
Yeah, what is that?
I believe it's in some type of, similar to an antihistamine,
It's for
like Benadryl or something like
we
that.
use it for sleep. Hydroxyzine.
I don't really recall much about that drug.
And were you aware in this bag there was another prescription for Buspar that was filled on November 9th, 2022, 30 pills prescribed, and no pills were taken out of this bottle? Were you aware of that?
I wasn't keeping track of the number of pills taken out of each bottle, so.
And then just ask you about one more, the trazodone, prescribed on November 16th, 2022, by a doctor from South Shore Hospital, 30 pills. Were you aware that only 7.5 pills were taken out of this prescription?
No.
So there were a lot of pills prescribed, but not a lot of pills taken, correct?
Yeah, because usually it stops them when they're not
Is that
doing that.
comprehensive of all the pills that were prescribed?
These are the pills that you brought into the police station. So out of these,
Out of those, yeah, it's possible that not a lot were taken.
All right, so that's out of the ones he brought in. What about the other ones? And I'm glad he just specified. I'm glad he just said that. All right, buddy, I'm with you.
do you recall what was the most amount of pills prescribed? I guess I could ask this better. What was the maximum number of medications she was on at any one
Is the
time?
volume okay over there?
I want to say 3 or 4.
Would it surprise you to know that she, at any given time, the most she was prescribed was 3, but most of the time it was 2 medications that she was prescribed at any given time?
It wouldn't be terribly surprising, no.
Now, on November 16th, 2022, did Lindsay visit South Shore Hospital?
Yes.
Okay. And why did she go to the South Shore Hospital that day?
I believe that day was because she basically went.
We have got to the point where literally anybody can build a fully working app without knowing how to code. This is based.
I think so, yeah.
Were you aware that she had taken a weed gummy that day?
I don't recall.
And are you aware that she didn't tell medical staff at the hospital when describing her symptoms and her medication that she left out that she had used marijuana?
I wasn't with her, so I don't know what she talked about at the hospital.
So she drove herself to the hospital?
She did.
And she drove herself home from the hospital then? Is that correct? Now, during this time frame between September and November of 2022, are you still participating in activities as a family?
Between November and December?
Between September and November?
Yeah.
Okay. And what types of things were you doing?
We celebrated Halloween. I don't really remember what else, but I think we were doing things regularly.
Do you recall going to an event with food trucks?
Oh, no, not the food trucks. She's guilty.
Yeah.
And do you recall going to an event in November where there were trains to ride with the kids?
Yeah.
We have the photo from the food truck event, this is Exhibit 3. And the photo from the train event.
No, but it's a storm, baby. Okay, it's lightning and thunder.
So Exhibit 3 is this Lindsay, Cora, and Callan at that event.
Yeah.
You were late for court today, Jamie.
This Lindsay with all 3 kids at that event in November.
Yeah.
Correct.
Did you have plans for Thanksgiving that year?
Yeah.
What were your plans?
I believe the order was we went to Wallingford where her parents lived in the week before, and then the week after we went to my sister's house.
And where did your sister live? What town?
South Hamilton.
And that was a week after Thanksgiving, is that right, correct?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, it
Thank
was.
you guys for the heart me's. I appreciate it. Numb thumbs, guys. I really do appreciate what's happening.
And is this a photo from Thanksgiving at your sister's house?
Yes.
I could have this photo marked as Exhibit 5, I believe.
Right, that may be marked.
Showing you what's been marked.
Thank you, guys.
5. Is this Lindsay here on the left?
Yes.
And are those your sisters in the photo with her?
That's one of my sisters and my sister-in-law.
Okay. And have they coordinated outfits for the day? The shirts?
Yeah.
Oh, no,
my
she
sister
took a
did.
picture and she's smiling. She couldn't have been suffering.
What was Lindsay's demeanor that day?
She was in rough shape.
Rough shape?
Yeah.
How so?
She wasn't talking much. She had low energy. She was really depressed. I just remember when she showed up, my sister-in-law gave her a big hug.
And she was able to get through dinner, eat dinner with everyone?
Paula.
Yeah.
Okay. She interacted with people, is that correct?
I would say very little, but to some degree, sure.
And she took care of the kids with you while she was there?
We both took care of the kids together.
You mentioned earlier that your wedding anniversary is in December, is that correct?
Yeah.
Do you recall going out for your anniversary on December 3rd, 2022, going into Boston?
No, we didn't go out.
You don't recall arranging for a massage for Lindsay and then going to the Omni Parker house and going out to dinner that night?
No, December 3rd, 2022, we stayed home.
You stayed home, okay.
Okay, one and only. Sandy said, I'd like to be able to see your reaction. Yeah, I have reactions. This is wild.
Yeah.
And when was that taken?
I'm not really sure.
It wasn't taken on December 3rd when you were out celebrating your anniversary?
In 2022?
Yes.
No. No, we wanted to go out, but we canceled because she wasn't feeling well. So we stayed home. We got takeout.
Okay.
He's like, no, nope.
Did you also, on November 26th, 2022, go out as a family to get a Christmas tree?
Yes. Well, probably. I don't know. But yeah, around that time, yes.
Okay. Showing you two photos. Are these from that day when you got the Christmas tree?
Yeah, that looks accurate.
You could have the first photo of all five.
I hate when I can't hear them.
And then the second one is Exhibit 7. Exhibit 7. Showing you Exhibit 6.
They are currently showing another photo.
Yeah.
And Exhibit 7, those are the kids.
Yes.
Around December 6th, 2022, did Lindsay tell you she was starting a new medication?
I don't remember specifically.
Is it that you don't remember the date or you don't remember her starting a new medication?
I'm not sure.
Do you remember Lindsay telling you at some point she was starting the medication Seroquel?
Yes.
Do you remember around what time frame that was?
I thought it was before December 6th.
Okay. And
You think,
do
if
you
you're not sure,
recall
then say you don't know. 'Cause that's where you're going to get yourself into trouble, buddy.
how she was physically after starting the Seroquel?
Awful.
How so?
That was really where her big spiral started. She started to lose a lot of weight, and she became very depressed, and she was having a really hard time.
And did she describe to you some thoughts or feelings that she was having at that time?
Yeah, she started to say she was suicidal.
And was that in December of 2022?
I think so, yeah.
And when she told you she was suicidal, did you ask her if she had a plan on how?
You, just you, building your app on base 44. Describe it. And it's real. One thought
Why will it
leads
not
to more
let me?
thoughts. Layer by layer, taking shape.
And at some point in time, did she tell you that this was the first time she had had suicidal thoughts?
I don't know if she mentioned it was the first time or not. I just remember her saying she had them.
Had you ever heard her say that to you before, that she was having suicidal thoughts?
No.
Did you own at that time a Surface Pro, a type of tablet that works as a laptop?
Yeah.
And who had access to that laptop?
We both did.
You and Lindsay?
Yeah.
And going back to August 22nd, 2022, did you click on a link on that Surface Pro that was titled Methods of Suicide?
Not that I recall.
And August 22nd, 2022, that was before Lindsay had been on any medications, as far as you know, correct?
Correct.
Going back to December, she's told you that she's having these thoughts. What's your reaction when she tells you that she's having these suicidal
What
thoughts?
kind of question is that? Oh, go jump in the top of the dumpster. What do you mean?
I
what
just
was
wanted to
the reaction?
support her. I asked those questions back to her, and her mother was coming up pretty regularly anyways, so we let them know, and we just try to be supportive.
Did she also tell you at that time, at the beginning of December, that she was having some other intrusive thoughts?
Yeah.
Is that how she described them or how you described them, intrusive thoughts?
I would say both.
Okay. And when she told you that she was having intrusive thoughts, did you ask her what they were?
Yeah.
And what was her response?
She described thoughts of hurting the kids or them having some sort of ailment. So like she was very worried that Cora had, whenever she had a stomach ache, she became overly worried that she was, like had like a liver problem or something much more dramatic than it was.
Okay. But going back to that first part, she said she had thoughts of harming the kids. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And did she tell you whether or not she had specific thoughts of how she would harm the kids?
No.
Here we go back to the plan.
And she didn't describe that as hearing this external voice telling her to harm the kids, correct?
Correct.
She told you she was having intrusive thoughts herself of harming the children, correct?
Correct.
And did you ask her how she was going to harm the kids?
I didn't ask it in that way. It was the same thing. I said, do you have a plan, and is it disturbing to you? And she said no, and then she said yes. And
disturbing go back for a minute there.
What?
You said, do you have a plan? And she said no. What was the second question? Second part of the question?
Do you find it disturbing? Okay. And she said yes. And she described it as really the way she was describing it as
do you find it disturbing?
Something that might happen to
I
the
love the
kids.
intrusive thought.
So it was more something might happen than she might do something. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And did she tell you how long she had those thoughts for?
She didn't give a duration.
And how many times did she tell you this, that she had thoughts of harming the kids?
A couple times.
And was that a couple times over the course of a night or two in December?
Yeah.
And as a result of her telling you this, that she had thoughts of harming the kids, what did you do?
Her parents came up, and I think I asked her at some point, do you feel like you need to be kept away from them? And she said no. And then, it was very confusing because a minute later she was making them lunch or playing with them or, getting them ready for bed or whatever it was.
So it was confusing in that she wasn't
Thoughts
physically harming them at the time, but was had these thoughts. Is that what you're saying?
Right. I never saw Lindsay harm kids.
And did you also, as a result of these statements, suggest an appointment with nurse practitioner Gelada?
It wasn't as a result of these statements. That appointment was set up because we were at her parents' house in Wallingford for Thanksgiving, and she just described how she was feeling on the medication, and she felt that she was addicted to them.
Was that the benzodiazepines that she thought she was addicted to?
Primarily, and then she was taking Seroquel at the same time, and she might have been taking Trazodone or Remeron. I'm not sure.
Okay. Do you recall testifying previously that I called her parents to come up to stay with us, and I told her that I asked her who her doctor was because I was very concerned at this point. She was prescribed 10 different medications in just over 2 months, so it didn't make sense to me. And then you said, so after her parents came up, she said, I have a remote meeting with Rebecca Gelada, and you said, no, it has to be in person.
Yeah, I felt like it had to be in person because I just felt like there was a disconnect. I felt like we could figure it out, whatever was going on. Mm-hmm. So it seemed like most of her telehealth appointments were pretty quick, and there just wasn't like a lot of attention.
Were you present for these telehealth visits?
Only a few of them, and they were after that
Really,
meeting with
Paula, why did you
Gelato.
not make her go
And
to a
that
hospital?
appointment in person with Gelato was December 6th, 2022. Is that correct?
That sounds correct.
So the thought of harming the kids was after Thanksgiving, but before December 6th. Is that correct?
That sounds correct.
Were you concerned for the kids' safety at that time?
No, I wasn't,
And why not?
Why?
because she wasn't showing any intention of harming the kids.
And she told you she didn't have a plan. Is that correct?
Correct.
So you weren't concerned? Are we for real right now? Does that make any sense to anybody?
Now,
The second that comes out of someone's mouth,
directing your
I'm concerned.
attention to December 15th, 2022. Did Lindsay go to Mass General Hospital to the emergency department that day?
Yeah.
Okay. And why was that?
I remember the reasoning being
I agree, Luke.
Told her dad that she wanted to commit suicide, and then she said to me, I told my dad I want to die, and it didn't bother me at all.
And as a result of those statements, you brought her, or did she bring herself to Mass General?
I think I brought her that time.
And at Mass General, she saw medical staff, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, she hung out with the maintenance guy.
Did they recommend to her some type of admission to McLean Hospital?
I remember there was one doctor who was in favor of that, and there were two others who were more in favor of a day program.
And did they give you information about a specific day program?
Were you worried?
Yeah, it was women and infants in
She wanted to hurt the children, had thoughts of hurting the children? No,
And at that
I'm not
time,
concerned at all.
when Lindsay was saying that she was suicidal, was she asked if she had a plan?
By the doctors.
Or by you?
I was always checking in with her, and she never told me that she had a plan. I'm not sure what the doctors asked her.
Why does everyone need a plan?
And
Plans can come split second. I need people to
after
understand that.
being at Mass General on December 15th, did she go to Women and Infants Hospital in Rhode
Yes,
Island
she had thoughts of hurting the husband.
to attempt to get into
Attention.
their
Absolutely.
postpartum program?
She was already in. She went in as scheduled.
Okay. And but she didn't remain in, correct? She was just there for a day?
Correct.
Okay. And did she go by herself? Did you go with her?
I dropped her off, and then I took Dawson skiing.
Okay. And at some point in time,
I
did
dropped her
Lindsay
off
reach
and
out
took
to you
Dawson
to say
skiing.
she wasn't staying at the program and to come pick her up?
She actually said that the providers at that program suggested to her that she call me and have her come get picked up, and then that I should go in and meet with the providers.
Okay. And then after you picked her up, she was no longer in the program at that point, correct? At Rhode Island Women and Children's, right?
Well, we discussed it with the doctors, and their recommendation was that the program wasn't right for her.
Right. And so you guys returned home, is that correct?
Yes.
And during this time frame,
Sammy
in
said, I hope his new wife.
December, Lindsay's still working out at the Kingsbury Club, correct?
That might be true. I don't recall exactly, but yeah.
Do you recall her going to the Kingsbury Club on December 6th, 13th, 16th, 17th, or 18th?
I mean, I believe that can be true. Yeah, I don't recall those exact dates, but yeah.
Yeah, he's remarried.
At this time when she's saying that she's feeling suicidal, she's telling you she doesn't have a plan, correct?
Mm-hmm.
She's no longer saying she has any thoughts of harming the children, correct?
Correct.
She's still bringing the children to doctor's appointments during that time, right?
Yeah.
Do you recall her bringing Callan and Dawson to the doctors on December 2nd when they weren't feeling well?
Yeah.
And then she was able to call the doctor's office on December 27th and make an appointment for Callan and Cora when they weren't feeling well. Do you remember that?
Sorry, guys, my dog ran
And
out
take
the
them to
front
the
door.
doctor, I believe with you, correct?
Maybe, I don't know.
And then on December 30th, she was able to take Callan to the doctor that day as well and interact with the staff. Is that correct?
Probably.
Then you returned to Mass General Hospital, the emergency department.
Imagine being able to build anything just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44, a complete AI creation platform made
The 31st.
Because she was still talking about thoughts of suicide, and I was exhausted. I said, I think it's time to go to McLean, and we didn't have a diagnosis, so we just didn't really know what was wrong. And I think for me, I was hoping that McLean could really evaluate her and try to figure out the best path forward.
Okay, so the path to getting to McLean was to go to the emergency department at Mass General and be referred to McLean. Is that correct?
Yes.
Were you aware that that night while at the hospital, Lindsay was taking selfies?
No.
So she took a selfie?
Right, that may be admitted, or they may be admitted.
Can you exhibit me taking a selfie at the hospital? Is that correct?
Are you asking me?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not like she's smiling, though. I mean, that's the selfie you're talking about.
Her legs in the doorway. Is that correct?
It's just a picture of her being in the hospital. That could have been, I mean, it's not like she was smiling. It's just a picture of her in the hospital. She could have been trying to keep track.
As a result of
I don't
going
know where they're
to
trying to
Mass
go with that,
General and telling
but
them about her
saying
suicidal
selfie
thoughts,
like she was
was
duck
she
looking in
transferred
the
to McLean
hospital.
Hospital?
Yeah.
Okay. And did you stay with her throughout that transfer process, or were you able to?
I was not able to. For some reason, they transfer. I don't know if they do this with all patients, but she was transferred at 3 a.m.
Okay. And so she reached McLean in the early morning hours of January 1st then of 2023. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And did you visit her at McLean Hospital?
Yeah.
How often did you see her there?
I think I was able to go twice, or maybe 3 times.
Okay. And do you remember, what visiting hours were or what hours you visited?
I don't remember exactly, but it was, something like 2 to 6. And I think there were morning hours, but you couldn't just go anytime.
You couldn't or could?
You could not.
Okay. And so you, out of the few days that she was there, 5 days she was there, you visited 2 or 3 times. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And while you were there with her, did Lindsay talk to you about the treatment that she was receiving at McLean Hospital?
She told me about her experience. It didn't really seem like she was getting any treatment.
Okay. Did she tell you that she wasn't really getting any treatment or wasn't getting as much care or treatment as she wanted?
Well, I think by the 3rd day, I said, what have the doctors said? And she said, I haven't met with the doctor. The challenge was she arrived on a Saturday, and then I think Monday was an observed holiday, so she didn't see a doctor until Tuesday. So until then, she was coloring and playing with clay and going for walks.
Were you aware that she was seen by a resident, a doctor, the first 2 days she was there, and then an attending on the 3rd day that she was there?
No.
Were you aware that she was seen by a licensed social worker, group therapist, and other mental health workers every day while she was there?
Yeah, I didn't get any updates.
Were you aware that she was offered one-on-one therapy by unit staff every day that she was there?
No.
Did you know that she participated in group therapy on January 1st for 45 minutes, a session about illness and symptom management?
I was aware of some group activities. I didn't know the details of it.
And were you aware that she participated in 2 group therapy sessions, one for 45 minutes and one for 50 minutes, one on self-compassion and one on illness and symptom management on January 3rd?
I wasn't aware of the subject of any of the meetings now.
Were you aware that she declined further group therapy and treatment in the afternoon of January 3rd?
No.
Were you aware that on January 4th, she participated in a group for 40 minutes called medication management?
No.
Were you aware that she participated in a group on January 5th on expressive therapy for 45 minutes?
No.
And were you aware that she declined further treatment 2 times on January 5th, one to attend group therapy and one to attend a session on cognitive behavioral processes?
No.
Were you aware that Lindsay asked the doctors to be discharged on the 6th, Friday the 6th, because she wanted to go to Cora's birthday party on the 7th?
Not that I recall.
Were you aware, or did Lindsay tell you that she then asked the doctors to discharge her on January 5th because she wanted to go home and get ready for the party?
I wasn't aware of Lindsay asking the doctors to be discharged.
Okay. Were there any insurance issues in terms of insurance refusing to pay for her stay at McLean Hospital?
We didn't really get to that point.
You weren't advised by the social worker or any staff there that there were any issues with your insurance, is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct, but I wouldn't have cared either.
Would you have just paid for it if needed?
I would have paid anything, yeah.
Ms. Sprague, is this a good time to break?
Yes.
All right, so members of the jury, we're going to break for the afternoon recess. We'll see you back here about 2 o'clock, okay?
All rise. You're supposed to notebooks, place them on your chairs. Follow me.
Yeah.
Happy duty.
Oh, hold on. You guys, can you go see her?
A little bit, yeah.
So now,
There she is.
where do you guys think that she was trying, the prosecutor was trying to go with that?
I kind of felt like they were trying to say that maybe she was like bragging rights, that hey, look at me, I'm in the hospital.
Yeah, the whole selfie. We know a lot of people who, you know what I mean, like take selfies in the hospital, and it's not necessarily because they're feeling good, or I mean, it could just be proof that she was there, right? So I don't understand where she was going with that. Like, and again, she looked miserable. She didn't look happy. It wasn't like, oh, it wasn't anything like that. They did. It was just a picture of her in a mask. And then she showed her legs like on the bed, showing that she was in the hospital.
Okay.
How many people do we know take pictures like that? No, it was when she was admitted.
I think it's just proof of she was there. That's what I was
Right.
going to say, Sammy. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it makes sense.
Like, look at me. I'm not feeling good. I'm in the hospital, sort of thing.
Yeah. And
Which women do that in the hospital. I don't do that kind of thing.
a lot of people do. We know a lot of people on here.
My
How
mother
many?
did it all the time. So, I mean, I do know people do it. I don't know that I would do it, but maybe she just wanted to take a picture of a time where she wasn't feeling well.
Maybe she was just,
herself.
updating her family. How many of us put pictures on social media just to be like, update, like, this is the current situation,
Yeah, right. Yeah, but did you hear about how much that a lot of stuff that like she refused, and it seemed like he didn't even know what was going on?
Yeah. It doesn't, a lot of, their expectations of his knowledge of every single thing on every single day made no sense to me.
And it kind of summed it up for me when they said, and what did you do after you dropped her off at the hospital? I said, girl, I took Declan skiing.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah.
I am gonna say, one time I stopped taking my mood stabilizer and Chris was like weirded out by me. And then he found all my bottles and he was like, why aren't you taking these? So, I mean, it could be like that, you know, in a sense.
Not even that, but how many people have double pill bottles, right? They give a prescription, then they up it a little bit, and then they put you back on it. So then they call it to the pharmacy. You can have multiple bottles. Those just happen to be the bottles that he had. You know what I mean? So
That's what they found in the house that he took from the house and brought to the police station.
right, that's what he had. Right.
Well, I don't think she had any. Was she hiding them in the house?
Well, those are the ones that he knew about. Like those are the ones that's not like those are the ones that the cops checked the entire house for. You know what I mean? So do we know that she doesn't have more? Because the amount of prescriptions weren't even correct. You know what I mean? You're missing like 4 or 5. So where are those? Those just happen to be the ones that were in the bag that he put in his car to take to the thing. That doesn't mean that they were all of them. So I want, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he said that himself. You know what I mean? Like I feel like he was trying to make that point as well. Like those are just what were in the bag. And that's what I took to my
The whole time she was there, she just basically wanted to get out, but he really didn't know. How come he didn't know? I mean, if that was my spouse and they were in there, I'd probably be there every day.
Well,
I mean, he probably couldn't with the kids, but I mean, he had his mother-in-law.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, let's be real. How many, if any, if I ever said to my husband, I feel like I'm going to harm the children, my husband would have taken those kids. My husband would not have been like, well, are you going to do anything? Do you have a plan? No. Oh, okay. No problem. Like nor would I do that to anybody. The second you start thinking like that, that's a big red flag. That's a serious cause for concern.
Wait a minute. Did I miss something? Did he ask her if she had a plan?
Yeah. And she said no. And he was like, all right, well, I didn't feel like she was a danger to them.
Well, why did he ask that question? Or did
they asked if he asked the question. Supposedly he asked, does it bother you? Like, are they disturbing? Well, no, they're cheering. No, I love them. Like, of course it's disturbing. It's not normal.
He's probably trying to get out of her actually how she's feeling. You know? He also said he was so tired of it.
Yeah.
I'm so tired of this going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think in his mind he just wanted it over.
He's probably taking care of the kids most of the time, and when you're dealing with stuff like this for a long time, it gets exhausting.
Yeah. I agree. I just feel like, I don't know. I want to harm myself and the kids just is a big red flag to me. Just the idea is not a normal idea that comes to our heads. So I feel like, I get that, hospitals ask, do you have a plan? That's the basic question. Do you have a plan? Listen, I don't agree with that. As a medical professional, I don't agree with, do you have a plan? I feel like if people start thinking that they want to harm themselves or others, that should be cause for concern and should be taken absolutely seriously. Do not wait for them to have a plan, because a plan can come up split second, right? A plan is not always a day ahead, hours ahead. A plan can come up in minutes. So I feel like the I have a plan shouldn't be the concern. The initial thought should be the concern, in my opinion. I think people weigh too heavy on this, do you have a plan nonsense. And I feel like that's where the danger comes in. Because, well, if to think about it, you had to have some kind of plan. To think about it, were you hanging? Were you know what I mean? Like, you don't just think, do I want to harm myself? You think, do I want to jump off a bridge? Do I want to swallow these pills? Like, obviously that you have some kind of thought process about it. So I don't agree with the psychiatric, field asking, do you have a plan? I don't agree with that. I think by the time they have a plan, it may be too late. Let's try and nip it in the bud before the plan comes about. How about that?
Yeah, that all sounds nice and everything, but that's usually not how it goes.
Right, but it should, because no regular healthy people do not think of suicide or harming others. So that thought in and of itself should be a serious concern. You know, I feel like I wouldn't, if you have a plan, of course I would ask the question, but the initial thought to me is a red flag. Nobody feels like that if they're healthy.
I don't think I would have ever asked that question. I would have been like packing a bag and going, let's go get some help.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I never asked that with my sister. She was in the car and let's go. That's just the way it was.
Yeah. And I think a lot of it is him playing safe to make sure he doesn't, guilt, and I don't want to feel like I should have been responsible or that I am responsible in any way. I think everyone's actions played a part in this, right?
Well, yeah, if you noticed him, he kept looking over at her a lot.
Yeah, he did. So I don't know. What time are we reconvening? 2:00 Eastern?
Yes.
An hour for lunch?
Yeah.
All right. I think I'm going to come down for about 45 minutes. I'm going to go make some lunch for the kids, make myself lunch, and I'll come back about 15 minutes beforehand.
All right, sounds good, Ivory.
All right, guys? All right, so I'll be back. All right, guys. Jamie, don't be late for court this time.
I won't. Are you going to be fired?
All right, guys. I'll be back.